Hello, my name is Bob Burgundy from Haroun News Network, that's HNN, and I've got breaking news for you. It looks like technology behemoth Apple is trying to buy Nintendo. Breaking news. I don't know if the deal will go through. I have to ask a number of our strategic advisors here to help us out to find out if this deal, in fact, will go through. And so the first strategic advisor that I want to ask is an expert in economics management and strategy. He works at a consulting firm called McKinsey, and his name is Chip Patterson. Chip, what are your thoughts?
Yes, thank you, Bob, for that introduction. This is an extraordinary deal, and I think it might make sense, but I'm not really sure yet. And so here at McKinsey & Company, we pride ourselves on advising the most incredible companies and government agencies in the world. And so by the end of this MBA degree program, my fellow classmates here will help me to analyze if this extraordinary deal makes a lot of sense or not. Thank you, and cheerio.
Thank you, Chip. The next expert we're going to ask is a finance and accounting expert who works at an investment bank called MHS, Morgan Haroun Sachs. His name is Gordon Lizard. Gordon, what are your thoughts on this deal?
Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate it, So here at Morgan Haroun Sachs, MHS actually, we're going to do a really deep dive to understand the financial statements of, Nintendo and Apple. And I pride myself on being an amazing investment banker. And we're actually going to have a lot of my fellow students here during the Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program help me to build out the financials. And don't worry, I know a lot of us don't understand how finance and accounting works, but we will by the end of this MBA degree program. In fact, here's what we're going to do, We're going to figure it all out together. We're going to create the financial model, meaning the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, etc., for Nintendo as well as for Apple. And it's a bit complicated because Nintendo's an international company, and so their financial statements are a little bit different from Apple, but we're going to figure it out, And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to value the company using discounted cash flow as well as price earnings multiple, price to revenue, and other metrics as well. And so that by the end of this MBA degree program, we will know how much Apple should potentially pay for Nintendo. Thanks, Bob. Back to you.
Thank you, Gordon. Our next expert is somebody that knows a lot about sales, marketing, and communication, and his name is Stephen Ive. Stephen, you work at Apple. What are your thoughts on this deal?
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. Thanks. It's going to be important for me to convince our board and shareholders to approve of the deal. And I'm not much of a presenter, but I know that a lot of my fellow students here in the Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program are going to be able to help me to learn how to present much better in the SMC classes, that sales, marketing, and communication classes, so that they'll give me advice, and together we'll be able to learn how to present to the board of Apple and the shareholders to convince them to the deal makes sense or if it doesn't. Thank you, Bob. Back to you.
Thank you, Stephen. Our next expert is an entrepreneurship expert named Tony Shark. Now, Tony was about to sign an exclusive contract with Apple for his virtual reality goggles and his company, Shark Virtual Reality. Tony, is this deal still going through for you, or because Nintendo has a great VR product, does Apple no longer need you, Tony? And what are you going to do about this?
Yeah, thanks, Bob. So I was supposed to sign this exclusive contract with Apple for my, Shark virtual reality goggles. I think our product is a lot better than Nintendo's. And in the entrepreneurship track of this MBA degree program, my fellow students and I are going to work on a way to sell this product to Apple. And so this product's amazing.
There's a hardware component to it, which has low margins. And then there's a software component to it with media, which is where you stream it, and it's really high margins. We got a great product here, much better than anybody else in the market. And so, last thing I'll say, Bob, and thanks again for having me on your show, is that by the end of this MBA degree program, my fellow classmates and I will be armed with this, and we'll have what it takes to be able to succeed in business and take our careers to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Our next guest is somebody off the street here, a random person I just met whose goal is to work at Apple. I want to ask you, from a personal growth perspective, how do you think you can get a job at Apple? So this guy's name here is Joe Jobs. How are you going to get that job?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Bob. I really appreciate it. So my dream has always been to work at Apple, and I think I got what it takes. And I know that my fellow classmates and I in this Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program, in the personal growth classes, we're going to learn just a ton so that we can all get the job of our dreams. We'll learn how to interview and all that stuff. But I'm looking forward to getting a lot of help from my fellow classmates so that we can get that dream job. I think I got what it takes. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Joe. Well, there you have it. We talked to 5 experts who are going to help us understand how this deal is structured, if this deal will go through and whatnot. And by the end of this Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program, you will all be armed with enough skills to understand from 5 different perspectives whether or not this deal makes sense. And those 5 perspectives are as follows: economics management and strategy, sales, marketing and communication, entrepreneurship, personal growth, and finance and accounting. I'm Bob Burgundy signing out here from Haroun News Network's HNN.
Welcome to our 100th weekly webcast. I can't believe it's been 100 weeks already. I want to thank you all for your incredible support over the past 100 weeks. None of this would be possible without you and my wonderful team as well, Matt and Wrigley, and Doug as well as Hisham. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been a lot of fun. We're just getting started. We're trying to push the goalpost out and improve every single class, every single webcast that we do. So without further ado, let's begin and thank you as always. All right, our first question is from Shubham, who's saying, can you tell us about the most difficult moments you've had in your work life and how you overcame and dealt with them? Yeah. So I think probably the most difficult thing for me was caring what other people think of me. And as a result, I chased a couple of careers where I wasn't really happy. But I was very insecure when I was younger, to be honest. And so I wanted to work on Wall Street. I went there, and my happiest day was day one. It wasn't enough money for me at Goldman Sachs. I didn't make that much. But so I thought, well, I want to work at a hedge fund. And so I went to a hedge fund, and my happiest day was day one. And then I wasn't happy there. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do venture capital. And I got a job in venture capital, and my happiest day was day one. And it all went downhill from there. And then I realized that, as Mark Twain said, the 2 most important days in your life are, number 1, the day you're born, and number 2, the day you find out why. And for me, I started teaching. And I realized that my true passion in life is teaching. And I wish that in hindsight, I'd never chased careers because I wanted to impress others. Otherwise, if you live your life to impress other people, you'll always be their prisoner, and you'll never reach your full potential in life. And so, as Sir Richard Branson said, I said, screw it, let's do it. And I was like, I want to teach. That's all I want to do. And I really do believe that if you chase money, you lose your dreams and your money. But if you chase your dreams as long as you're willing to fail at least a couple of times, and please fail at least a couple of times, then not only do your dreams come true, but the money follows accidentally. It always does, no matter what anybody tells you. And you only have to be right in business one time. And so I recommend that you all chase your dreams and not give a damn what other people think of you. Don't let somebody else choose your career for you. Just live your life on your own terms. And if I can humbly help you to be able to find your passion and start your company or make that career change, then please let me know. Thank you. Okay. Next up is, what would your ideal answer to the question be of tell me about yourself? Yeah. So this is a classic question you get during interviews. And the easiest way to answer this question is to just think about your resume from the top to the bottom. Okay. So on your resume, there's usually 3 sections, and you always lead with your strengths. So if you just graduated from school, you put education first, then work experience, then personal. If you graduated years ago, you put work first, then education, then personal. And so when you answer that question of tell me about yourself, you start with the top of your resume and you go down it chronologically. And if you feel that you're rambling on and on and on, and you're not sure what to say next, then you can use transition words, which I teach about in my complete job course. Transition words are what I call crutches, something to fall back on. Here's a couple examples. Moving on to, in terms of, and the bottom line is this. If you ever feel like you're rambling, stop yourself by saying, the bottom line is that sort of thing. So as you go through your resume top to bottom, keep it 30 seconds max as you walk through it. And I'll give you an example how I would answer that question. And you don't want to give too much information. You want to answer questions in a short, concise way so that they can ask more questions, your interviewer. So here's what I would do. I was born in London, Ontario, in Canada. And I started working in the consulting industry and technology. And then I transitioned to work on Wall Street. I did an MBA in finance at Columbia University. In terms of my hobbies, and you got to mention your hobbies as well, which is at the very bottom of your resume. Because what happens is relationships are more important than product knowledge. And if somebody can identify with you in an interview on a personal level, then they're most likely going to want to hire you or work with you. And so I usually end it with, I'm very passionate about baseball and a couple of educational charities as well that I'm involved with. So leave it at that. But you want to mention team sports at the bottom as well, so it looks like you're a team player, if sincerely that's who you are. Like for me, I love baseball. Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got a question on what is the biggest advantage of working in a multinational company instead of a startup? Yeah. So startups can be very stressful. And for every Google out there, there's a gazillion other search engine companies or tech startups that go nowhere. And so it's feast or famine. And I would only recommend going to a startup after you have a lot of experience in one particular area. And so when you work at a multinational company, like Goldman Sachs, where I worked for a number of years, you get to travel a lot and you get to make mistakes. And because these companies are quite big, they usually train you. So it's kind of like an extension of your education. And you learn what to do and what not to do. And quite often we get mismanaged. And that's okay. It's a beautiful thing because it helps you out with 2 things. Number 1, you learn how not to manage people. And number 2, it makes you frustrated. And frustration is a beautiful thing because it forces you to move outside your comfort zone and try to maybe improve your standard of living or get a better job, or even better, start your own company. So multinational companies, the bottom line is you learn a lot. It's an extension of your education, and sometimes you get to travel as well. Okay. And you'll notice I was rambling there in that answer. And so the crutch I used was the bottom line is. All right. And another thing teachers do is we repeat the question. And whenever we do that, we're actually thinking, oh my God, what's the answer going to be? Yeah. And you can repeat questions or you can use transition words to think about what your answer is going to be. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Should one write a book by combining small chapters and figuring out an appropriate title, or first be clear on the chapters and topics and then start writing? Yeah. So for me, what I do, and I'm going to show you all how you can write your own book. I have a free template for all of you. And so many of my students have written books, and I've bought a lot of them actually, and I've profiled them here on the air. So writing a book is easy, and I'll quickly provide you with a template. So just go to my website, harouneducation.com/writebook. Okay, all one word. And you can download my template here on how to write a book. And if you know how to use Microsoft Word and a browser, then you can write a book. And it's actually free for you to be able to do it. And so you can click here to publish it on Amazon Kindle. Here, this will forward directly to publish it on Amazon's paper-based products. And this is Audible. It's really, really easy. And then you just type your whole document in Microsoft Word. Then you right-click here on the table of contents and select Update. It's simplistic. But I love to actually keep my chapters very, very short. Like I think about when I was younger, I loved reading books by Roald Dahl, like James and the Giant Peach or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And what I loved about those books was that the chapters were very, very short. So I felt like I was accomplishing stuff quickly. And so the way we consume media has changed over the past couple of decades. We don't have the attention span we used to have. And so for me, I used to be able to read 5,000 word editorials in the New York Times as well as Vanity Fair. I can't do that anymore. I just don't have the bandwidth. Less is more. And so the bottom line is I believe that short chapters is a smart strategy because you feel like you're accomplishing a lot more and you can get it as well, meaning copy and paste directly into LinkedIn to promote your book, etc. Okay. Next question is Shubham saying, thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us so selflessly. I hope I can add value in some way. I appreciate that. And thank you to all of you, my students, my customers. Without you, none of this would have been possible. And I can't believe this is week 100. It's amazing. Incredible. All right. And then next up, Shubham saying, God bless you, and hope we have hundreds of these webcasts in the times to come. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Next up, Sid is saying, congratulations on your 100th webcast. Thank you. Appreciate it. And the question is, or you're writing here, thank you for answering my question in the previous webcast. Here's a follow-up to the question. So you explained that where someone went to school doesn't define their success. Absolutely. And then you followed up here with, it's hot in here, so I got to turn the AC on. You wrote, then why do people care so much about attending an elite college? What's so special about those schools that can't be found in a state school? Yeah. So I think a lot of people get into these elite colleges because of their parents. That's not always the case, though. Like, if you work exceptionally hard and you have very successful parents, yeah, you can earn it yourself. But I think what's really unfair is that a lot of very wealthy people get into these schools because their parents went there. It's really unfair. It's unfair. And so I don't think you need to go to these elite schools to be successful. In fact, I believe that sometimes when you go to these elite schools, like Harvard Business School, two-thirds of HBS is BS. You can't say that about Haroun Business School, okay? Just kidding. But I think what happens is a lot of times people go to these schools and then there's entitlement. They graduate and they think to themselves, I'm more important than everybody else. The world is my oyster. Everybody should hire me. I love to hire and partner with people and teach people that are poor, smart, and hungry. And I think you can even start in the mailroom without an education and rise to the top. You want examples? I'll give you a bunch. the CEO of Goldman Sachs for a couple decades. His name was Sidney Weinberg. He started actually in the mailroom at Goldman, no education. Simon Cowell from American Idol, he started in the mailroom. David Geffen, he started in the mailroom. The former CEO of ESPN and Cosmopolitan magazine, she started in the mailroom as well. Why are people from the mailroom so successful? And why do they make it to the corner office with no education? Because they can network. You know, the friendly mail person that sees you every day and says, top of the morning to you. Did you see the game last night? The Toronto Blue Jays beat the New York Yankees, which always happens. I'm from Toronto. That's a little bit biased there. Yeah. But I really do believe that relationships are more important than product knowledge. And I think that if you network a lot, you can get anything you want in life. And let me provide you with my free book to download, okay? So if you go to my website, which is harouneducation.com, and you scroll down, you can download my networking book here for free. I really do believe that your net worth is your network. And you don't need to go to an elite college in order to get the job of your dreams or customers of your dreams. All you have to be able to do is network, and network aggressively. It's true. It's true. You know, when I used to teach in universities during the evenings, I remember the first class, I would always say this. I would say, over the next 10 weeks in this class, if I told all of you that if you did one informational meeting every single week for 10 weeks, that you were guaranteed to get the job of your dreams, would you do it? And every hand went up. All 75 of my students in class, when I used to teach during the evenings in class, every hand went up. Then what would happen is on the very, very last day of class, right before the final exam, I would say, okay, how many people did 10 informational meetings? No hands go up. How many did 9? No hands go up. How many did 8? Maybe 1 or 2 hands go up. And those students that put their hands up were never the ones that got the top grades, but they are the ones that are most successful in business. Relationships are more important than product knowledge. Don't think that you need to go to Oxford or Cambridge or any of these great universities in order to reach your full potential in life. Au contraire, you don't. In fact, there's a lot of great companies that don't require you to have an education anymore. You don't need a university degree to work at Apple. You don't need a university degree to work at Facebook. You don't need a university degree to work at IBM or Wells Fargo and so many other companies as well. I believe the days of educational elitism are behind us. And I think you can retool and learn anything online whenever you want to for next to nothing. And there's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee on most online courses anyway. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And I don't care how old you are or how young you are. You can always reinvent yourself. So since the 1950s, the average life expectancy has gone up by 26 years. That means that if you're 56, you're actually 30. If you're 46, you're actually 20. You can start over anytime you want to. If you wanted to, learn how to program, but you missed the whole technology boat, you can learn how to program immediately. It's easy to do. Anybody can do it. And I'll show you some great examples here. Okay. So if you go to Udemy's website, okay, and let me actually go here in incognito mode so it doesn't know it's me, udemy.com. And if you search for, I think it's Angela Yu. Yeah, she's great. Angela's amazing. I actually met her in Berlin last year at a Udemy event. So Angela teaches you how to program from scratch. And by the way, she used to be a doctor, but she wasn't happy being a doctor. She wanted to teach. She wanted to help people other ways. And so she started teaching online here. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. But if you want to learn how to code or learn how to create amazing websites, you can do it. Look at her ratings. Like, that just trumps me. My courses suck compared to hers. So you can take courses from her, or what you can do is you can take courses from Rob Percival, who will teach you how to code. And they're both from England, which means they speak gooder than me, but they're wonderful. They're wonderful. So it doesn't matter how old you are. or how young you are, you can always reinvent yourself by taking courses online. You don't need to go to an elite university. Okay, next question is, how do you define success? Yeah. Personally, I think that success is leaving this world in a better condition or better shape than when you entered it. Leaving your mark and helping people. It's not about money. It's about helping people. It's about giving. And the most successful people in the world are givers. In fact, there's a great book called Give and Take. And in this book, the author analyzed the most successful people in the world and the least successful. And so the poorest 1% of people in the world are givers. Okay. Beautiful people like Mother Teresa. God bless her. She's up in heaven for sure, man. So the poorest 1% of people in the world are givers. The middle 98% of people in the world are takers. Most people take. The top 1% of people in the world by wealth, and it doesn't mean I respect you more if you're wealthy, I certainly don't. But the top 1% of people in the world by wealth are also givers. So give and you will receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. And so the bottom line for me is I define success by somebody that enhances the lives of others. We are here to serve others. And I'm humbly doing my part to try to help other people as well, because we're all in this together. The next question is, how can someone develop charisma? Yeah. Well, I think it's nature and nurture. So from a nurture perspective, if you surround yourself with people that are very charismatic, it rubs off on you. Kind of like if you surround yourself with people that are not the best influences, it rubs off on you. Like when you were younger, remember your parents used to say to you, I don't want you hanging out with that person because they do drugs. And you would always say, Mom, Dad, they don't do drugs. They did drugs. You know what I'm talking about. And so when you were younger, your parents tried to pick your friends for you. And now that we're older, we have to pick our friends ourselves, meaning pick those that have a positive influence on us. And so if you hang out with people that are very, very charismatic, that can rub off on you as well, from a nurture perspective. You don't have to be born charismatic. You can learn it. You can learn it. And I remember I used to be a programmer at Accenture years ago. And I was a brain on a stick, or maybe just a stick. But I remember I would code for 10, 12 hours in a row. And I loved it. I felt like I was in a zone. But I was also a little bit antisocial because of it. And I remember I used to go to parties when I was a coder in my early 20s. And I get nervous. I get nervous talking to people because I didn't put myself out there. And I was just kind of coding all day long. But then what happened was I started to run to my fear. If anything scares you in life, you got to run towards it, not away from it. So, if social situations scare you, run towards it. If presenting in front of thousands of people scares you, run towards it. If accounting and finance scares you, run towards it and condition yourself to love it. Okay? Perception becomes reality. And so I think that if you're shy and if you think you lack charisma, then I think what you need to do is force yourself to be in front of lots of people and to get people's attention and present in front of large groups of people and hang out with people that are charismatic, because I think you can learn that as well. And just be yourself. As Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. Just be you. It's too hard to be anybody else. And don't give a damn what anybody thinks of you. Just be you. And that way you'll reach your full potential in life and you'll maximize your charisma as well. Okay, next question is, does it matter what college major someone chooses? I mean, I think that you got to do what you're passionate about. That's what matters most to me. Do what you love doing, and you'll as Confucius said, you'll never have a job for the rest of your life. Do what you love doing. That's the most important thing when it comes to choosing a college major, in my humble opinion. Do what you love. Don't do what someone else loves. And don't let your parents, and I know one of the 10 rules in life we all live by is to respect your parents. Of course, I certainly do. But I don't think you should choose a career because your parents want you to become a lawyer or an engineer, whatever it is. I think you should do it because you absolutely love doing it. Otherwise, what happens is when you have small kids, you have small problems. But when you have big kids, you have big problems. Do what you love doing. What are we here for anyway? All right. Next up, Nishant is saying, hi, Chris. Many congratulations on number 100. Thank you. Appreciate that. And he wrote, it takes heart and commitment to do this consistently. Thank you. No, it's been fun. It's been fun. All right, next. And by the way, I've got I'm looking into a teleprompter here. I'm doing something different now. I'm trying to push the goalpost out. So you can kind of see the teleprompter there a little bit. And so I'm actually reading through the screen. So I'm trying to push the goalpost out and try to do something a little bit differently. And as you know, I've got all my pedals down here to switch between cameras. And they're just simple. The computer thinks it's actually a keyboard. It just plugs into a USB slot there. Right, and I've got my top-down camera here. I'm an army of one, and I try to teach you all how to do what I do without any employees. Just do it all yourself. And I certainly make a lot of mistakes doing this, but it's been fun. But I do have a teleprompter I'm reading into now, so I can read your questions and connect with you a little bit better. Yeah. Next question is from Kim, who's saying, good morning, Chris. Good morning. Happy number 100. Thank you. Congratulations on that milestone. Thanks. I hope you and your family are well and that you have a well-deserved 2-week break after this. Thank you. Yeah. And for those of you, appreciate that, Kim. God bless you. For those of you that didn't read the notice, I'm actually going to be on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So there won't be a webcast for the next 2 weeks, but I will still vlog every single day as I promised you. And right now I'm on day, I think, 730 of vlogging every day without missing a day. And I promised you on my very first webcast that I'm going to vlog every single day for the next 10 years. And let me just show you really quickly my first webcast. So if we go here to my website, and you can get all my webcasts here and all my vlogs. Right here we got, this is fun. This is week 59. I did this in Berlin. It was a Udemy live event. I did it from my hotel room. And these are two of my great students, Robin and Vital. They joined me. And actually, Vital and I, what we're doing is we're building a school in Rwanda in his hometown of Magoo. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll have it ready by probably early next year. And he's also, he's making the French version of my entire MBA in one course. And I'm going to speak a little bit of French as well. My French is brutal, man. It is awful. Yeah. But he's going to be doing most of the speaking. So anyway. Let me go back here to week number 1. I'll show you. There's Dylan. He was on some of my earlier calls, my son. He's like a son to me. Just kidding. But here's the very first week. And I was nervous. I remember. All right. It's 8 o'clock a.m. I just want to say good morning and thank. We come along, but I've aged a lot. Look at that, man. I've aged like crazy since then. Yeah, but I don't care. It's been fun. Okay. Question from Kim is, thanks again for all this. Oh, you're welcome. Is there a Canadian equivalent of LegalZoom that you can recommend? I don't know of one, but I'm sure it exists. And for those of you not familiar with LegalZoom, it's this website I use for most of my legal services. They only charge like $30 per half-hour call. I'm not compensated by anybody ever, by the way, for mentioning that. But I would just do a search online for Canadian equivalent of LegalZoom. Maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Next up is Nishant is saying, as we mature, we get to know that it's only the way of thinking that makes a person successful and other a loser. Yeah. It's what you think of yourself that matters most. You shouldn't give a damn what other people think of you. Just it's what's inside that counts. Yeah. Okay. And that's why a lot of times I think that older people don't have confidence problems. They just don't care. They just don't care. And I have to show you really, really quickly my favorite therapeutic comment ever, for me, I guess, which is a chart. And on this chart, I guess I'll use the back of my mouse. Moose, that's how we say it in Canada, moose. It's not mouse, Americans, it's moose. Okay. But on this chart here, right here is your age, okay? Young, old. And right here is give a damn, okay? And when you're younger, you're right here. You don't give a damn what people think of you. You know, you go to restaurants with your parents, you have meltdowns and all that stuff. When you're older, like me, I'm an old man, but I'm happy. But I'm young at heart. When you're older, you don't care what people think either. You don't give a damn. Recall, this is age, give a damn. The problem is when you're in your 20s and 30s, and sometimes older even, and a teenager, of course, you're up here. You care what people think of you, and it's dangerous. And I call this the triangle of despair. And you need to avoid this triangle of despair, you know, at all costs. Otherwise, you'll never reach your full potential in life. And so the most successful entrepreneurs, you know, they live at this level here, you know, like Oprah Winfrey or Elon Musk. They live at this level here. And they don't care what people think of them. They never did. They never did. Oprah was told over and over and over again, she'll never amount to anything. She didn't give a damn what anybody thought. She just kept at it. Elon Musk, he doesn't care what people think of him. I mean, the guy's talking about colonizing Mars. He doesn't care if people think he's crazy. It doesn't matter, because someone else's opinion of you doesn't have to become your reality. And so, and that was a quote from Les Brown. I can't take credit for that. So you got to live at this level here and just not care what people think. And it's very therapeutic. And I want you to do this exercise right now. This is your homework, folks. I want you to write down on a piece of paper, I don't care about X. And I want you to fill in the blank for X. Do it 10 times. So I don't care what people think of my career. I don't care what people think of my hair. And it's an awful hair. Look at this. Dude, look at this hair. Oh my God. I screwed up I like to dye my hair. I don't know why. Look at this. You see the black there? I totally screwed this up. I left it on for too long here. I'm an idiot, but I don't care. It's fun. It's fun for me. Also, I don't care what people think of my shirt. The best view comes from the top, I guess. Something like that. I don't care that I screwed that up and I can't read. I just don't care. That's what you got to tell yourself. You got to say, I just don't care what people think of X, and fill in the blank for X. Like for me, I don't care that, you know, that people might think I'm a child because I like to play video games. I love to play video games. I'm playing The Last of Us Part 2 right now, and I have to play with the lights on because it scares the hell out of me. So anyway, the bottom line is do that for homework, please. I don't care about X, and fill in the blank for X. Do it 10 times. Okay. Next question is from Kim, who's saying, please remind us how to enter the website again. I tried it. Oh, here. Yeah. So if you paste a website here or enter it in, for some reason, YouTube blocks it. I don't know why. It is what it is. So if you want to share a web address with me, you have to spell it out. So instead of going to www.cnn.com, you can type www space dot CNN space com. Okay, that's how you have to do it. Yeah. All right, Nishant is saying, I have a specific question. I want to deeply understand the Silicon Valley way of working. How to be successful at a startup in Silicon Valley, and specifically how to think. So the mentality here in the Valley, and it's not an American thing at all, because more than 50% of the top entrepreneurs and engineers and founders of tech companies here in the Valley were born overseas, like Pierre Omidyar, who was born in Iran. Of course, he founded eBay. Elon Musk was born in South Africa. So I don't think it's an American thing at all. But what I will say is that here in the Valley, on the West Coast here, it's cool to fail. What does that mean? It's cool to fail. Well, at least you tried. And if you fail a couple times, hey man, that's cool. Just keep trying. Whereas in other places in the world, it might be a bit shameful to fail. You know, like where I'm from, Toronto, and I love where I'm from, and I'm very proud of where I'm from. But I kind of feel like the mentality sometimes on the East Coast, and it's the same thing in New York a bit too when I used to live there. The mentality is that failure is shameful. But if you fail and then you try again and then you're successful, people are like, oh, okay, they remember only the success. On the West Coast here, if you fail, hey man, it's cool, try again. If you fail again, hey man, it's cool, keep trying. You'll make it. You'll make it eventually. And in some countries, I'll never name them, if you fail and then you're successful later in life, all people might remember is the failure. And so I think the bottom line about Silicon Valley, and again, it's not an American thing because most founders and entrepreneurs here and engineers are born overseas. But failure is cool. It's cool. And you should never give a damn what anybody thinks you anyway. Otherwise, you'll always be living your life on their terms, and you'll always be their prisoner in your mind. Break free. You know, get out of that prison, so to speak, and just live your life in your own terms and keep trying over and over and over again until you succeed. You know, rinse, lather, repeat. And as Mark Cuban said, you only have to be right in business one time. So keep failing. Keep failing. And as Denzel Washington said, keep failing and falling forward. Pick yourself up. All right. And Denzel's got a lot of great speeches, man. Yeah, he's awesome. All right, I'm having air conditioner issues this morning. That's okay. Week 100, I'm still running into a lot of problems. Yeah. All right, but we keep pushing the goalpost out. Next question is, can you please suggest to me some resources, mainly books and movies, to understand their thinking process and way of working? Okay, yeah. I think I know what you're going with there. Yeah, when it comes to entrepreneurship, sure. Well, let me talk about one of my favorite movies ever. It's called Tucker, A Man and His Dreams. And this is a Tucker car. It's a beautiful car. I mean, look at this thing. So what happened was there's this dude named Tucker that he created this car of the future. And there's a great movie about this made by Francis Ford Coppola with Jeff Bridges called Tucker, A Man and His Dreams. And it's about this guy that starts this incredible car company. And he was so good at what he did. And this car was so awesome. And people were smaller back then. That's my only dad humor of the day. I'm so sorry. But it was so awesome that the big three automakers in Detroit felt threatened and had him shut down. You know, they were corrupt, and there's corrupt politicians that shut him down. But I love this movie because it shows that if you're passionate about what you do in life, and if you don't give a damn what people think of you, and if you surround yourself with positive people, there's nothing you can't achieve, even if you fail. You know, this is a movie about a guy that failed. I mean, he was incredibly successful later in life, but he just didn't give a damn what people thought of him. So watch this movie if you get a chance. It's called Tucker, A Man and His Dreams. Yeah. Great movie. So check it out. And I absolutely love movies when it comes to business. And I love edutainment. This is just who I am. I like to humbly try to entertain and educate at the same time. And my goal, speaking of not caring what people think of you, I said this about 1.5 years ago. And this is a fake. I'm a fraud, okay? This is a fake. And it's a prop for my complete presentation course. But this is an exact replica of an Academy Award. It's 13.5 inches tall. It weighs 13 pounds. I'm too weak to pick it up. And my goal is to get one of these within 10 years. It's now 8.5 years, I think, from now. I said 10 years 1.5 years ago. In 8.5 years, I want to get one of these for best business documentary that makes the world a better place. I don't know what my topic's going to be yet, but let me show you. This is interesting. Let me show you the anatomy of an Academy Award. So on the Academy, on an Academy Award, there's 5 circles. You see this? And these 5 circles represent the 5 original branches of the Academy: acting, directing, producing, the technical stuff, whatever it is. And so there's so much that goes into a production of a course, a Udemy course, or even doing something like this. But it's a lot of fun. It's fun. Okay. Next question is from Kim. Kim is saying, I've had challenges with some incoming emails being blocked by internet service providers. So would you like to speak to someone at my company to ensure I receive emails regarding my MBA application? Okay, yeah. So thank you. So what I recommend doing, and you're not the first person to mention that actually. Look at me teaching on how to start a company, yet my technology infrastructure sucks. So if you go to my website and you want to apply for the MBA degree program, and by the way, the last day for early admissions is going to be the 15th of August. So if you click here, apply now, you could fill it out here. It can't be more than 500 words. Otherwise, I use something called Active Campaign in Squarespace to track all this stuff. If you submit more than 500 words in your essay, it won't make it through, but you can email me as well. So Kim, if you want, you can email your essay to admissions@harounventures.com. Again, the last day for early admissions for the MBA degree program is going to be August 15th. And you can click here for important dates and all that stuff. And if you're curious about what is this entire MBA degree program, just go to the FAQ. So go to harouneducation.com/FAQ and you can read up here. And so if you want to start the MBA program today, you can enroll today. There's a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And this is over 300 hours of lessons. And the next and that's called the silver version. These 2 versions here, they're called the gold and platinum versions. And this is where I teach live here. And it starts this December. It lasts 1 year. And so it's over 300 hours of lessons, the pre-recorded ones like you have in silver. Then I answer questions for several hundred hours. That's right. Over 200 hours of live Q&A with students that use Zoom or they type questions in like you're doing right here. And so this one starts December 14th. Okay, so this is the same as a silver, except you get a couple hundred hours of live Q&A with me. Then there's something called the platinum, which is this version here, which has everything gold has, but also you get several hours of one-on-one time with me. Let me just scroll here so you can see it. Yeah, several hours of one-on-one time with me, either in person if you want to come here to the San Francisco Bay Area, or we do it over Zoom. It's all confidential consultations as well. And so if you want more details on this, just go to harouneducation.com/FAQ. And thanks for your interest. And again, you can email your application if you want to, Kim, at admissions@harounventures.com. And I'm so sorry about the technology infrastructure issues that you've been having. Yeah, thanks. It's my fault. The customer's always right. Okay. And Kim is saying, is there any free moving editing software that you recommend for PC, on Windows 10? Not that I recommend using. I think if you're using Windows, I recommend using Adobe Premiere Pro. And if you're using a Mac, you can start off with iMovie, which is free, which is how I actually edited my first 15 or 20 courses on Udemy. And then I moved up to Final Cut, which is like iMovie on steroids. And it's fun. Okay. And then Kim has a question. With respect to Udemy coupons, please explain how these work and who, meaning Udemy or the instructor, generates coupons. Thanks, Chris. All the best. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So the way it works is if you're an instructor on Udemy, and anybody can teach, and if anybody wants to teach online, and we all have something to teach, we all do. You can go to just search for my name on Udemy, and I have a couple free courses on how to teach online based on the many mistakes I've made. But what you can do is you can send out a couple of coupons, per student each month over Udemy. and you actually get 97% of the profits. So if you sell a course for $10, you get $9.70. And Udemy keeps 3%, not to make money, but because there's credit card processing fees. So that's how it works. Yeah. Okay. And then Udemy itself generates coupons and distributes your courses globally. And they'll have sales every now and then as well. And the economics there is a little bit different. You get, I think it's about half or so. And it's great because it's all incremental. You know, it's customers I would never have had. Most of you actually probably, learned about it from Udemy and a bunch from Amazon and Stack Skills and other places, or my YouTube videos. Yeah. And so I think that the loneliest place in the world is page 2 of Google search rankings. And I think that if you try to market your own courses, it's really, really tough without partnering with a Udemy. And Udemy is Google and everybody else is Bing when it comes to education tech companies. Yeah. And they're not just an engineering company, they're also a marketing company. And I don't get brownie points by saying this, please. It's an algorithm. If my courses suck, and many of them do, they just won't sell. Yeah. Next question is from Patrick, who's saying, I've been obsessively studying and trading in the futures markets for a few years. Is there any way that a firm would hire someone with real market risk experience, but without a degree in finance? Absolutely. Absolutely. You just have to network a lot. The former CEO of Goldman Sachs started in the mailroom with no education. And I really do think that the best way to get a job, a date, I shouldn't be giving dating advice, or anything you want in life, is to network. And you can go to my website, harouneducation.com, and you can download my networking book here for free. Relationships are more important than product knowledge. Yeah. Okay. Next question's from Ray. Ray saying, hi, Chris. Hi. Congratulations. Thank you. And then you wrote, may the pleasure teaching brings you grow with the years and make you happier and happier. Thank you. And then you wrote, in case you're in a mood for answering questions, here they are. I always am. Thank you. So the question is, how do you stop yourself from starting too many things simultaneously? And then you wrote, I schedule, but I'm often tempted to start a new book or a course without having the time for that. Yeah. So what I recommend doing is scheduling every day the night before. And so if you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person. And so I've got a free template you can download. You don't have to give me your email or address or anything. All you do is go to my website, harounventures.com/schedule, all lowercase, schedule. And you can download a daily template here. Okay. And this template here is really simplistic. It works in PowerPoint, and you can, I'm sure, use Google Slides and other applications to open it as well. But what I do is, and this one's a little bit dated, but I complete a schedule like this every single day the night before. And I wrote here, please note, you could change around the formatting here if you want to. So for me, and this one's kind of old, but this is a template you can use. I write in the day number here. So every day at like 9 o'clock at night, 8 or 9 o'clock, what I do is I write tomorrow's schedule. I don't do it on weekends, otherwise I drive myself nuts. Okay. And I'll come back to this stuff in a minute. And this is personal, so you guys can change this around if you want to. Then I write down for the next day, what am I going to accomplish? What are my to-dos, etc. And I hard-coded in here for me personally. I go for a walk every day at 1 if I can. And Steve Jobs actually used to go for a walk a lot. He went on walks with his best friend, Larry Ellison. They brainstormed a lot together. And even Walter Isaacson, who wrote that great book about Steve Jobs, he interviewed Jobs on long walks. But I think that when you go on a walk daily, you release endorphins and serotonin. And so that's what I do. And I also, under my desk here, I have a walker. And I'll raise the desk up and I'll get my 20,000 steps in a day so I can think more clearly and speak gooder. And this is just other stuff for me. I schedule family time, etc. And I think I'm covering this up in the corner here. But basically what I do, and let me just go and get rid of my ugly face there. Go here to get rid of this. You can see what the hell's underneath there. There we go. Okay, cool. So what I do then is at the end of the day, before I make tomorrow's schedule, I judge myself. I score myself out of 100%. And it's very subjective, of course. And so when I score myself, what I do is I take off marks for if I didn't put God first. Okay, if I didn't pray. And I'm going to go there. This is week 100. I'm going to say what's on my mind as I always do. I never worry about stuff in business ever because God already knows what's going to happen. And that gives me peace in my heart. So I score myself at the end of the day. Did I put God first, then family, diet? Did I do weights, whatever? I don't know. Did I get 8 hours of sleep? Did I wash my face twice? Did I put customers first? Did I not surf the internet too much? Did I not check emails too much to get my 20,000 steps in, which means 10,000? And so I'll take off 10% for each if I didn't do it right. And then I'll take off marks as well if I didn't do meetings and all that stuff. But if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. And so I actually have another version of this that's much, much higher end. And let me actually show you. Give me 1 second. All right. So yeah, here's a higher end version that I have. And this is for my MBA degree program students. I give them this version, which I give to in PDF format, PowerPoint format, LibreOffice. That's French for office, I think. It's free software. And I also give it in OneNote version as well. And so I recommend getting a clipboard like this and filling this in daily. And let me show you top down, see what it looks like. All right. So this one's a little bit different. So it's for my students in my program. But basically, I also have personal goals that you write down here. And you have to write a deadline date as well, because if you don't set a deadline date, it's a dream and nothing more. And 90% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions by the third week of January because they don't write a deadline date. You know, whenever you come up with a goal, you got to set a deadline date and you have to vocalize it too. Tell other people because I'll put pressure on you. And I say it with love in my heart to be able to get it done. Yeah. All right. All right. Next question I've got here. Ray is saying, it is somehow very sad to tell yourself, I will start this course in 6 months because my schedule is full until then. So I overlook myself. Yeah. 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 I would just, I mean, you could schedule every day. So if you want to learn, I recommend getting up a half hour early and doing 30 minutes every morning, learning courses online. And then try to whistle while you work, like to do a couple things at the same time, if you can. So if working, if you're not in the right mood, listen to music. You set the soundtrack for your own life. You do. So I recommend having motivational music on while you exercise and while you work. Think about going to a great movie, and that great movie has no music. It wouldn't be as great as you think it is, because you're basically your mood and your emotions are being controlled, and that's not a thought police George Orwellian statement, but your emotions are kind of being controlled by the soundtrack, and God bless anybody in Germany watching today, because I want to thank you for Hans Zimmer. What I do is I listen to a lot of Hans Zimmer soundtracks while I work, like the soundtrack for the motion picture Interstellar, which puts me in an amazing zone. For when I work. And let me show you guys one more thing. Okay, this is week 100, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. What I also do is I have a treadmill underneath here, and I'm going to transform. Speaking of movies, we'll think about Michael Bay for a second here. So give me a second. I'm going to show you what I do when I work. So throughout the day, I actually I get a lot of steps in this way. So I've got this desk from this company, fully.com. I'm not sponsored by anybody, as you know. And so what I'll do is I'll pull this up here, and you won't be able to see me for a second. Give me a second here. And I even do a lot of my calls with students this way, the one-on-ones. And what I do, and this product I'm going to show you, it's called Fit Bill. And I don't even realize I'm taking steps. Whoops. Yeah. I don't even realize my pedals went on there. I don't even realize I'm taking steps while I'm walking, right? And so and you could speed it up as well if you wanted to, or keep it on this pace. But I got a ton of steps in this way, and I don't even know that I'm working out. And the beautiful thing is that it releases serotonin in your mind. It's kind of like Prozac, so to speak. It makes you happier, and yeah, you could get more intense and have it go faster. But this product is called Fit Bill. I think it's the cheapest treadmill you can get because there's no arms on the side and stuff. But it's I think much more clearly. Let me just turn this off. I think much more clearly when I do this. All right, turn that off. Keeping it real here today. This is number 100. Why not? But no, I like, for me, you get your best exercise in, or your best, you get your best work in during the mornings when you're fresh. And if you start to fade towards the end of the day, like, exercise while you're working, I promise you what happens is that you feel like you just woke up. You can think much more clearly. So anyway, that's what I do. That's what I do. It helps a lot. It helps, especially now, just given COVID, dude. It sucks having to stay home all the time. So I don't know. It just kind of makes you a little bit more productive. Clearly, I'm not doing this right. All right, there we go. I think we're good. And I go down to 32. There we go. We're good. All right. I'm the farthest thing from normal. Let me tell you that. All right. All right. Next up, question is from Ray. Ray is saying, how do you assess a management team? If they have already been successful, entrepreneurs is easy. But what if this is their first company? Yeah, sure. So what I usually look for is passion. I want an entrepreneur that's incredibly passionate and can sell something that sounds boring, really, really interesting. Like Mark Benioff. I remember when I first met Mark Benioff, I think a year or two or a couple of years before the IPO in 2004 of Salesforce. And he blew me away because he made something that is so boring, meaning cloud computing. He made something so boring sound so exciting. And so I look for passion. I look for that because I know that the business model is always going to change when somebody starts a company. But I want to make sure that they can get investors and potential customers excited about the product or service. And the most successful entrepreneurs, they're great salespeople. That's what they are. And the same thing with CEOs or partners in a law firm or whatever it is. They're salespeople. That's how they rose to the top. And so if you can sell with passion right from your heart, I think that really resonates with investors. Now, if you don't have much experience, what you can do is you can actually get board advisors. Okay. And I'll give you an example. So with Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg didn't have experience starting a company, but investors felt comfortable with him because he had rock stars on his board, like Peter Thiel, who runs a fantastic venture capital firm called Founders Fund. And Thiel was the co-founder of PayPal as well. Also on Zuckerberg's board was Sean Parker, who founded Napster in the late 1990s. Right, a great C2C file sharing platform, and also on his board was Justin Timberlake. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's from the movie, the founder. Yeah, but if you surround yourself with people that have been successful, then your probability of raising money will go up a lot. And let me show you an example of this, okay? All right. And I was just teaching my MBA degree students about coming up with a great business plan and what to do in your slides if you don't have experience. So let me show you. let me show you here. And I think what I'll do is I'll do a top-down look again. Give me 1 second to get oriented. Yay. Okay, cool. So this is a fictitious name. But if you don't have experience, I recommend using the Olympic ring strategy. This is what I call it, which means that you put yourself here and your other employees, if you have them, and then you put down here advisors, okay? And this will assuage investor concerns that maybe you don't have enough experience. You put them down here. People that obviously agree to be an advisor. And this is, I think this is a guy named Gates William or something. And this is Godin Seth. Just kidding. Seth Godin, by the way, is the best business teacher on Udemy. But you could put successful people, if you ask them first, of course, and logos of where they work, just to assuage investor concerns. So that's what I recommend doing. And if you want to learn more about this, you can take my MBA degree program, or you can take a course I have called the Complete Business Plan course. I go into this in much more detail, though, in my MBA degree program. Yeah. Okay, Joao, how are you? Joao wrote, "Good morning, Chris, and congratulations to you and your team on the 100th milestone." I appreciate that. Thank you. And then you wrote, "This is a true testament of persistency and commitment." Thank you. I hope you enjoy it and look forward to many more to come. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I keep making mistakes, but we're getting better. We're getting better, right? But as Michael Jordan said right down there, I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. At least Michael Jordan does, right? So I love that. And by the way, I got that done on Etsy, and I recommend that if you want to motivate yourself, just get a poster like that or customize it and throw it on your wall or in your office to motivate people that you work with. And by the way, I'm watching right now, and I'm running out of things to watch, man, because of COVID, right? And so I'm watching this amazing documentary. It's a 10-part series on Netflix on Michael Jordan. I recommend watching it if you like basketball, or even if you don't like basketball. It's very motivating. Yeah. Okay, next up, Ray is saying, "How do you pick companies? You often say that we have to choose companies that people will like in the future, but how do you find them?" Yeah, no, thanks for that. And so, and what you're referring to is a quote I mentioned before from my favorite athlete ever, which is Wayne Gretzky. And so Wayne Gretzky, a great hockey player, he used to say that he wasn't successful because he skated to where the puck is. Rather, he skated to where the puck is going to be. And so you have to have the foresight as well to start companies that people are going to like, or invest in companies that people are going to like. If you invest in a company that everybody already likes, then who's the incremental investor to push that stock higher, so to speak? You got to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. Of course, that's a wonderful quote from the sage of Omaha, Warren Buffett. Yeah. But when I look at companies, I look at three things in this order. I look at fundamentals, then I look at valuation, and the very last thing I look at is technicals. Okay. And I only look at technical analysis because I like to buy companies that are massively oversold from a relative strength index perspective. I like to buy broken stocks, but not broken companies. And if you buy what everyone else is buying, again, who's the incremental investor to push it higher? And I love to think very, very long term. And I create my own financial models, and I value companies based on my earnings estimates in 5 or 10 years. And so people might say, "Chris, you're crazy to buy that stock. It's over 100 times earnings." And my response is, no, it's actually 3 times my earnings estimate in 5 or 10 years. You just got to be long-term focused, and don't be a tourist. Like, don't rent stocks. Be in it for the long run, and do your own research. Never rely on anybody, including me, to tell you what to buy or not buy. Do your own research, and don't think that people on television that speak gooder than some of us are better investors. They're not. They're not. And every time somebody's interviewed on television, you have to understand there's a bias. So if a CEO is being interviewed, they're trying to get you to buy their stock. They're not unethical. They're just great salespeople. And the same thing with mutual fund portfolio managers when they're being interviewed. And a lot of times they'll even disclose they own the stock, but just be careful. Like, I want you to do your own research always, because as Steve Jobs said, no one is smarter than you. And I believe that quote so sincerely in my heart. They actually licensed a Steve Jobs video from a guy that made a documentary on Steve Jobs called No One is Smarter Than You. And go to my YouTube page and just do a search for Steve Jobs, and you'll see that video. And if you want to learn more about how to pick companies, you can take my complete financial analyst course on Udemy, or you can sign up for my MBA degree program. I go into a heck of a lot more detail on it as well. Okay. All right. Next question is, what are the chances of a person who is not fluent in English to make a popular course on Udemy? I have this maybe limiting belief that certain professions are exclusively for native English speakers. Yeah. So I mean, I don't think you have to be a native English speaker to teach. I mean, there's a hell of a lot more wisdom from people that don't speak English as their first language than people that do. You have different perspectives as well, different life experiences maybe as well. I don't think it matters. And you can even teach in your own native language if you want to. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm partnering with one of my amazing students in my MBA degree program, a guy named Vital. And Vital, whose first language is French. He's from Rwanda. He's making a French version of my course called an entire MBA 1 course. You know, you don't have to teach in English. Teach in your native language if you want to, or both. And I think accents make you more interesting. And you want to stand out. You don't want to be like everybody else. And Ray wrote, thanks again, Chris. I believe that a lot of people are happy for your success. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Week number 100. I still can't believe it's been 100 weeks. Unbelievable. Goes by fast, man. Yeah. And by the time your child is 12 years old, you've already spent 90% of the time you'll ever spend with them. And you can't get that time back. And I've kind of gotten that time back actually with my son, Andrew. We work out together. We spend time together. He's 16. And given this whole terrible COVID thing, I get to spend more time with him. It's great. It's great. And so when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Perception becomes reality. And yes, it does suck what the world's going through now. And I pray every day that we find a resolution for this quickly. And maybe it'll come in November. I don't know. But I look at the positives, which is I get to spend more time with family. And you can't get that time back. Okay, and Joao wrote here, also, I'm thrilled for being accepted to your Platinum MBA program starting in December, and I'm counting down the days to this amazing experience. Thank you. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to having you, buddy. Thank you. Thanks, Ray. Okay, and Manas, thank you so much for all the social media attention this week. I appreciate it. And Manas is saying, in quotes, the best way to predict the future is by creating it. And that's a great quote from Steve Jobs you wrote here. I love it. And then you wrote, you're a live example of it. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I should not be mentioned in the same sentence as Steve Jobs ever, though. Yeah, he's amazing. And then you wrote, félicitations, Monsieur Haroun. Thank you. God bless you and your family forever. Thank you. And then you wrote, I pray to God I'll join you in webcast number 10,000. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And God bless you and your family much, much more. Okay. And then Manas wrote, the book's going very well, and I'll have it on your table before 101. Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Let me know, like the second you're done with your book, this goes to any student, just send me a message at support@harounventures.com. So I can buy your book. I have to buy it myself, okay, from Amazon, because I want to support you. And I'll profile your book on the air as well, like I've done many times before for my other amazing students. Thank you. And the question is, are you going to get your vlogs out during the next 2 weeks? Yeah. So although I'm on vacation, I've already pre-recorded vlogs for the next couple of weeks. And I'm not going to miss a single day because I promised I'm going to vlog every day for 10 years. And right now we're on number 730 or something like that. Yeah. And my vlogs always drop at 9 a.m. My time, San Francisco time, Pacific time. Yeah. Next question is, can I record a Udemy course on my Android phone? And then you wrote, Udemy prefers DSLR. Why? Yeah. So I think you can record using an Android phone or an iPhone. You know, a lot of people do it. And I have a bunch of students in my MBA degree program, specifically one guy named James Reardon, who lives in Maine. And he uses an iPhone 6, and it looks just as good as this. It's amazing. There are software applications you can download that will turn your iPhone into a webcam, or you can record your iPhone. And I find that, like, I use a lot of different cameras, as you guys know, but the best camera I use actually for especially my top-down views is my iPhone. These things are amazing. You know, I feel almost silly owning all these other cameras. But you don't need a DSLR. But if you're going to buy a DSLR, the one I recommend getting, just for starting out, is called the Canon M50. Okay, it's a smaller DSLR. You can use it for vlogging, as well as recording courses. Yeah. Okay. And then Manas wrote, Jeff Bezos lost $8 billion. What are your prospects on that? I'm not sure what you're referring to exactly. Let me know what you mean by that. Thanks. Okay. And Manas wrote, you're making a school in Rwanda, and I'm a digital marketer, certified, you wrote here. Just ask me if I can in any way help you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Manas. Thank you. And then you wrote, I would love teaching with you. You say something, and I'll teach that. Hope I'll be helpful. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And the school should be ready. So the school in Rwanda, it was supposed to be done by the end of the year. We have to push to next year, though, just for COVID reasons. Yeah. Yeah. And I just lost my spot. So give me 1 second. This happens. Sometimes it jumps on me. Week 100, and I still make mistakes. Okay, I'll search for the word Rwanda, because that was the last one I answered, I think. Oh, here it is. I found. Okay, good. Okay, great. And then Manas wrote, I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. That's my great quote from Michael Jordan, yeah, which I have down. Whoops, wrong pedal. Down here. Yeah. And then you wrote here, whenever I fail, I say this quote here to myself, and I laugh at myself. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I laugh at myself all the time. And there's so much to laugh at me about, right? Then you wrote, thanks to you, my mentor. God bless you and enjoy your vacations. Thank you, Manas. I appreciate that. God bless you more. Next question is, does a business need to have products and services that everyone uses or needs in order to last for a long time? Yeah. So I would say that a company is only as good as its customer service. And so I think that sometimes your best customers are the ones that start out buying an entry-level product, and then you can upsell or cross-sell to them. But if you service your customers properly, they'll stay with you forever. Yeah. Again, a company's only as good as its customer service. Yeah. Next question is from Neil, who's saying, hey, Chris, I hope you're doing all right. And I just want to say hi. Hey, man, good to have you. Thank you. And then Moishe is saying, my dear friend, Chris, huge congrats on the big 100 web. Thank you. Appreciate that. Wishing you 100 more plus interest. Best, Moishe. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Appreciate that. Jason wrote 100. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. And then Geronimo, it's been a while, man. You're from Brazil, right? I haven't seen you in a long time. Great to have you. Great to have you. And you wrote, congratulations on number 100 webcast, Chris. Thank you. And then many lessons that you gave here and on Udemy helped me to have a better life and to be a better person. And you wrote, you rock. Thank you. Oh, God bless you. I appreciate that. Thank you. This has been fun. It's been fun. 100. I still can't believe it. Unbelievable. Amazing. And Geronimo wrote, if I might ask, what's the best piece of advice you think you have given in all of this time? Yeah. So over the past 100 webcasts, the questions that I love answering are the ones about passion. Just do what you love doing most in life, And don't give a damn what people think of you if you fail at least a couple times. And you will reach your full potential in life. As Mark Twain said, the two most important days in your life are number one, the day you're born, and number two, the day you find out why. And so follow your heart and everything else will fall into place. Okay. Next question is, hey, Chris, as a founder of a content-based startup, how do I pitch my firm that's currently at an idea stage? Yeah. So what I recommend doing is I have a course called the Complete Business Plan course. And you can take it or you can join my MBA degree program because I go into a heck of a lot more detail on that. But I teach you how to create a business plan from scratch. And I coach you through every type of question you could possibly get from investors. And I also, in this course, give me 1 second here. Microphone just fell down. All right. See, dude, this is week 100 and I still have issues. But I'm trying. All right. I will let it rest here on the table. How's that? Okay, there you go. But what I recommend is when you take that course, it'll teach you how to make a 10-page presentation for your investors. And it's really simple. Less is more. But I think if you take that course, it'll help you a lot when it comes to pitching your company. And if you have questions, you can always ask me here during this weekly call or within the courses. Or if you join my MBA degree program, we go into much more detail and I can coach you one-on-one as well. Solly in the house. How are you, Solly? So Solly is my incredible student from Lithuania. He's Persian. He immigrated from Iran to Lithuania a while back. And he's an amazing person, very, very positive. And he taught me, actually, he has this great system set up so that he puts all of his goals on the wall. And he does it with these little Post-it notes. And he prioritizes his goals that way. And he has a lot of motivational people on the wall as well, picture them and that sort of thing. He's great. But he inspires me more than all those people on his wall. And he just started his own company as well. And he's got an insanely positive attitude on life. And he inspires me and my fellow students. And Solly wrote, congratulations on your 100th webcast. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. And Haroun is saying, hey, Chris, I just want to say thank you for everything Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Archit is saying, congratulations on your 100th webcast. Thanks for all your courses. My pleasure. Thanks for being my customer, my student. And then you wrote, I have recommended your courses to all my friends. Thank you. And then you wrote, I wanted to ask, how do I edit my articles and writing? I've been writing on Medium. Yeah. And I just gave up on Medium. So I started taking some of my content on LinkedIn and putting on Medium, and I didn't get much traction. And so I'm not doing Medium anymore. But the best thing I can do is go to my YouTube page and search for how to write like a journalist. And I have a 15-minute video there for you, for free, of course, that will tell you how to write like a journalist. And I used to have my own column in Inc. magazine. And so I got a lot of feedback from my editor there. I used to write during the evenings. It was fun. I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes too, but he was really patient with me. All right, try to fix this. I don't want to touch the table because when I type, sometimes it bangs this as well. Okay, we're good. Fine. I'm digging this shirt, man, because it kind of blends in the microphone. Yeah. All right, it's good. Okay. All right, next is Ramon, who's saying, yay, it's the 100th. Thank you for those emojis. And then he wrote, this weekly sessions and your Udemy courses would definitely help ease the upcoming burdens of a 14-day isolation. Okay. Oh, you're in quarantine. Yeah. Well, I hope everything's okay with you. Yeah. And we thought my son might have had it actually a week or two ago, and he was in quarantine. He's fine, thank God. Yeah. And if you think you have it, like what I do is, we're talking obviously about COVID if you're watching the replay, but what I do is I drink hot water all day long, especially when I think I might have gotten it. Yeah, because it apparently, I don't know, it kills it, whatever. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up, Kunal is saying, good morning, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Likewise. Congrats on the 100th webcast. Thank you. Fabio is saying, hi, Chris. Congratulations for your 100th episode. I want to thank you. Your engagement is inspiring. Thank you, Fabio. God bless you. Jason is saying, hello, Chris. Congratulations on your 100th webcast. Thank you. You've amazed and inspired me daily through your edutaining vlogs and courses. Wishing you the very best, and God bless. Thank you. And God bless you way, way more. Thank you. And Fabio said, I'm also taking your courses. And the one I'm taking now is the Complete Financial Analyst course, as well as the Complete Personal Finance course. And I'd love to apply for your MBA. I just need to understand how best to organize my job. Yeah. So you can apply and take my MBA degree program on your own terms. You have access to it forever. It's a very flexible program. You can do the degree program within 6 months if you fast track it and that's all you're doing. Or you can take your time and just watch episodes whenever you want to. It's quite long. The entry level version is called Silver, and that's over 300 hours. And then the Gold and Platinum versions are over 500 hours plus one-on-ones and stuff too. And you can go to my website to learn more. Just go to harouneducation.com. Yeah, thanks. All right. Fabio's asking, I stole from Tony Robbins' book, The Money Masters, The Game. If you were to bequeath to your kids nothing but a portfolio, what would the asset allocation be in percentage? Okay, great. Yeah. So I think the best way to think about it, and this is kind of old school advice, is you take 100 minus your age. And that's how much risk you should take. So if you're 30 years old, 100 minus 30 is 70. That means 70% of your investments should be in higher risk and 30% in lower risk. If you're 80, 100 minus 80 is 20. That means that 20% of your investment should be in riskier assets and 80% in less risky assets. In terms of portfolio construction, I recommend looking at stocks, bonds, commodities, and real estate. Okay. And what I'm going to say doesn't include your house or your apartment. Okay. So stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate. Real estate in this example is REITs, R-E-I-T-S, which are like stocks, but they're real estate with high dividend yields, because by law in most countries, real estate investment trusts have to pay out about 90% of their profits in dividends. So I would look at those four categories there and maybe make no one sector more than 10% of your investment. So within stocks, don't have more than 10% of your portfolio in tech stocks, that sort of thing. And don't ever have any one investment class ever more than 5% of your liquid net worth. Yeah. And so the minimum number of investments I would recommend in a portfolio is 20. 20 times 5 is 100. That's 5% exposure to each. And as you diversify above that number, it doesn't do as much as you think it does, mathematically speaking, to really diversify your exposure. Yeah. And for more details, you guys can always take I think you already you mentioned here, my Complete Financial Analyst course. Yeah. Okay, next up we got Arthur. Great question, Fabio. Thank you. Arthur is saying, hello, Chris. 100. What a great milestone. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and then you wrote, thanks for doing all these webcasts. My pleasure. Thanks for being here. Without you, without my students, this would not be possible. And I am grateful. And then you wrote, regarding the webcasts, they're super informative, and I learn a lot from them. I'm also doing your MBA course on Udemy, which I also find very informative and fun. Thank you. And then you wrote, I'm doing the course because I want to be an entrepreneur and create my own company in the future when I finished my education. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And you only have to be writing business one time. So I recommend writing a business plan first, because failing to plan is planning to fail. And most companies fail, and most people don't write business plans. But if I can save you time and money and aggravation and years on your life by helping you crystallize your thought process through writing up a detailed business plan, then I've done my job. And I certainly have courses on that. And in my MBA degree program, I go into much more detail on that as well. which includes one-on-one coaching. Thanks. Next question is, when do you think is the best time to start a company? During a recession. Always. Because not as many people do it. And because if you start a company in a recession, you're running scared and you're lean and mean. And the second that we come out of the recession, you're nicely levered to the upside. Yeah. And there's less competition. Yeah. And then Kunal wrote, the Apple buying Nintendo video was just amazing, unique, and all the words I can't remember. Thank you. I appreciate that. And for those of you just joining us, I started off this 100th episode, and you can go back and rewatch it. I started off with a video, a pretend video about Apple buying Nintendo. Thank you. And Pratik wrote, 100th webcast. Congratulations, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. And Arthur is saying, I have 2 questions for you today. Which one of your courses would you recommend for me, who is 17 years old and in high school? Yeah. I would say I have a course called the Complete Job Course, which will teach you how to get any job you want and also teach you how to network and how to create not just a great resume, but a great LinkedIn profile as well. So I start with the Complete Job Course. Thank you. I'm getting hungry, man. This is my my drink. I put some acai in it. It's a purple fruit from South America. It's just greatest hits of, yeah. Well, that's good. I put some dark chocolate in this morning too in it, which is an antioxidant. And Gerson wrote, good morning, Chris. Good morning. I hope you and your family are very well. Likewise. It's nice to see you again there. And congratulations on your 100th webcast. Thank you. Thank you. I still can't believe it's number 100. Unbelievable. Amazing how fast it goes by. Ramon is saying, for everybody out there who is affected by COVID-19 in whatever extent, we will triumph through this. Let's see each other on the next live session. Yeah. I love your attitude. Love your attitude. Yeah. And Ramon wrote, I should still be able to type on my keyboard by then, so you shouldn't be defeated as well. Let's spread positive vibes and win through this. Amen. Amen. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Crazy, crazy time. But you know what? I think that a lot of people are going to look back upon this and say that I was stuck at home and I was bored and I started an online company. And that had a big impact on the world and myself and my family, and it doesn't cost you anything to start a company online. You can get free website access, many different services. You got free distribution of advertising, and YouTube is the only gold rush in history where it costs you nothing to make the product. And YouTube is also the only gold rush in history where you can get immediate access to billions of potential customers for free. Think about it. And anybody can do this. Anybody can make vlogs and, improve the lives of other people. And I think that in order to be successful in business, the new digital economic reality, so to speak, is you have to add value first to the customer. And then you can upsell them to a product. It's competitive otherwise. And I think everybody should vlog. And I have a course actually on Udemy called the Complete YouTube Course, which I co-taught with one of my great students named Sasha Stevenson. And she was on my first 10 webcasts or so, and she started giving me advice on my vlogs, which have gotten a lot better, but they're still not that great. And Sasha Stevenson, and I co-taught this course with her, the Complete YouTube Course, she has over 100 million views. And she's an internet sensation in Indonesia. I've never met her, but we did a course together. Yeah. So, but I really do believe that we might all look back one day, all of us, and say, darn it, I wish I had created more YouTube content, because this is the golden age of content creation. Again, YouTube is the only gold rush in history where it costs you nothing to make the product, and the only gold rush in history where you can get access to billions of potential customers immediately for free. Okay. And Pratik wrote, I'm excited to see what is special today, 10 minutes ago. Thank you. And then Arthur, the other question from Arthur is, Do you have any advice for things I can do now as a young person that will set me up for success later in life? Yeah. So the most important thing I can tell you is the earlier you understand that relationships are more important than product knowledge, the better. And so one of the big mistakes that a lot of people make in life when they start working is they think they can get a raise or a promotion by doing a good job. Hold on. What does that mean, Chris? It's not that easy. When you're younger and you're in school, if you get good grades, life works out well for you. The teacher's happy, your parents are happy, and you're happy with yourself. Then what happens is you start working. And after a while, you're surrounded by people that are getting promoted faster than you and getting raises faster than you. And you don't understand because you're like, if I keep my head down and work hard, I'll get recognized. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to ask for a raise. You have to ask for a promotion. And nobody's made it to the top of any company without asking to be promoted. You have to ask. And there's certain tactful ways to do it, but you have to ask. If you want anything in life, you got to ask. You want a date, you have to ask. I had to ask 8 billion times. But just keep that in mind. And people, it's as obnoxious as this may sound, people won't remember your accomplishments unless you remind them. It is what it is. And the best advice I can give you actually is to realize, and I'll give you my book here for free, to realize that relationships are more important than product knowledge. Whoops, wrong keyboard, sorry. Relationships are more important than product knowledge. And go to my website, HarounEducation.com, and just scroll down and download this book on networking. I promise you, it'll help you out materially because your network is your net worth. And relationships are always more important than product knowledge. Okay. All right. And Nick wrote here, hey, Chris, how are you? I'm great. Thank you. And he wrote, congratulations on your 100th webcast. Thank you. Appreciate it. Surreal, man. It is surreal. Next question is from Pratik, who's saying, can you highlight the differences between your personality 100 weeks before and now, meaning from webcast number 1? Yeah. And you wrote here, how the webcast has changed you. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit more confident than I was then about my ability to deliver this webcast to all of you weekly. I'm humbled by the many mistakes I've made and the many mistakes I'll continue to make throughout this fun journey we're going on together. But I understand technology a lot better now. It's not perfect. I have a long way to go. I keep experimenting and pushing the goalpost out. But I'll never be satisfied. I'm happy, but I'll never be satisfied with the quality of this ever. Because once I am, then there's no point in doing it anymore. Because I always want to continuously improve. And it's fun too to challenge yourself. And this is going to sound out there, but it'll kind of, you'll understand a bit more about who I am and whatnot. But I love it when I feel like I'm over my head. I love that challenge. And when I started my MBA degree program, and whenever I've started anything else in life, which is a big goal for me, humbly, I feel like when I'm first starting, I'm looking over the edge of a cliff. And I throw a bunch of airplane parts off the edge of the cliff. And then I jump off. And I have to assemble the airplane before I land. That's what drives me. That's what drives me. And to really understand the DNA subfabric of what I'm trying to get at here, if you get a chance, watch the Oscar speech for Best Actor for Dallas Buyers Club from Matthew McConaughey. It's probably the best Oscar speech I've ever seen. And he talks about competing with himself. And just check it out. You'll love it. And he's so real, McConaughey. And he's actually a gifted teacher. He teaches now at Austin. He's wonderful. He's amazing. He's so much more than just an actor. He's incredible. And in his Oscar speech, it was so prophetic. It was, oh my God, passion was amazing. He didn't care the whole world was watching him. You know, he basically was talking directly to his Father who's up in heaven. And he said, Dad, this is dedicated to you. And he said, my dad is up there in heaven. He's watching. He's probably standing in his underwear, eating a lemon meringue pie with a can of Miller Lite, and he's dancing. It was awesome. It was a great speech. Check it out. Very touching. Okay, next question is from Tron247. Oh, I used to play that video game Tron at Chuck E. Cheese's when I was a kid. It was in the early 80s. It was from a movie. It was fun. So Tron247 is writing, hey, Chris, congratulations on your 100th podcast. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you doing this with your followers. My pleasure. And then you wrote, your consistency and transparency are inspirations in themselves. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm consistently bad. Thank you. It's been fun. It's been fun. And this wouldn't be possible without all of you. So I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And then Melody wrote here, and Melody, for those you don't know, is an awesome teacher from Atlanta. And she just published her first course on Udemy, and it is awesome. It's about teaching your kids to read. I bought it. It's wonderful. I suggest you all check it out as well. Just go to Udemy and do a search for, I'm going to go there with you, actually. Let's do this together. When one teaches, two learn. All right, so let's go here to, Udemy. Make sure I'm in private mode. New incognito mode. Okay, good. All right, let's go to udemy.com and we will look up Melody Johnson. All right, so we go here to Melody Johnson. Here it is. Here it is. It is awesome. This is a great course called Empowering Your Child to Read. It's wonderful. I suggest you guys all get it. Oh my God, Solly, good for you, Solly. Oh my God, I love Solly. Solly's my one of my amazing students from Lithuania. He bought the course here, and he wrote, the techniques that Melody teaches here are very interesting. Your kid will learn how to read with ease. Thanks for the course. Good for you. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. And then this guy, people say this guy here looks like Brad Pitt or Bradley Pitts. I'm just kidding. I wrote, brilliant. I love this course. You guys got to check it out. Again, it's called Empower Your Child to Read. Leaders are readers. And I think you'll enjoy it. So always great to have you, Melody. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to reading your book, which is supposed to come out this year, you said too. I love it. So Melody wrote, yay, congratulations, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I first met Melody on October 31st, 2019 on this weekly webcast. That was a Thursday. And on that day, it was Halloween, I remember it well. I did 9.5 hours straight without getting up once. And Melody actually came on the call with her two wonderful children, all dressed in their Halloween costumes as well, which is fun. And so Melody wrote, happy 100th anniversary. Thank you. You wrote, I'm so proud of you. Thank you. It means a lot coming from you. Thank you. And then you wrote, I watched your first video and was so inspired. Sometimes you have to push through the discomfort to get the comfort. Oh, I love that quote. Did you make that up? I want to use that, and I want to quote you on one of my my slides. Let me take a screen print of that. Thank you. I love that. Let me read it again. Sometimes you have to push through that discomfort to get the comfort. I love it. Love it. And then Melody wrote, your Rwanda project, Chris, your Rwanda project, I want to help you. I want to be able to give you a few of my courses for the kids there. Maybe this can help some of the teachers there too. Oh, I love it, Melody. I'll take you up on that. Absolutely, yes. Thank you. Thank you. And Vital and I will get in contact with you. Vital is one of my amazing MBA degree program students. And yeah, thank you. We'll do that. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so for those of you not familiar with what I'm doing, with one of my great students, Vital, we're building a school in Rwanda. And we're using solar on the roof. And the first school we're building is in a town called Magu, M-A-G-U, I think, which is where Vital is from. And we're going to have solar on the roof, and we're going to provide free education for students in that school. We're writing a business plan on it together as well. And then our goal is once we perfect it, and I will make a lot of mistakes doing it, But once we perfect it, we'll get Bill and Melinda Gates involved, and we'll try to get that business plan disseminated globally so that anybody else can build a school as well. And I really believe that education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. And that's a great quote, of course, from the late, great Nelson Mandela. And I gave a TEDx talk on that too. My TEDx talk, if you want, you could search it online. It's called How T Can Solve All Problems, TEA, which stands for Technology, Education, and Acceptance. Yeah. Excellent. Next up is Kundan, who's saying, Chris, as companies are realizing work from home is effective, most tech jobs will be outsourced to India. Do you think the Americans will oppose to this because it's bad for them, obviously? Yeah. No, I mean, for decades and decades and decades, people have been worried about technology taking jobs away. I remember back in the 80s in America, there's this movie called Gung Ho with Michael Keaton. I'm dating myself, which was about other companies taking jobs away and robots replacing Americans or blue collar workers, whatever it is. I just think that we all adapt. That's it. We can all retool online. If you want to learn how to code and you're 75 and your job has been outsourced somewhere, go online to udemy.com and take courses on how to code. Anybody can start over. Yeah. So I'm not worried about that at all. Yeah. I think people can always reinvent themselves. Doesn't matter how old or young you are. You can do it by taking online courses. Yeah. Okay. And Tron247 is saying, Kobe Bryant, God bless him, Kobe Bryant said that the reason he was the best was because he never got bored with the basics. Oh, interesting. Oh, I love that. And then you wrote, what are some of the fundamentals in business? What do you practice every day, no matter what? Yeah. So I'll answer those in reverse order. So I practice gratitude every day. And so before I get out of bed, what I do is I thank God for 10 different things in this order always. Christine, my wife, Andrew, Matthew, Dylan, my kids, my mom, my dad, my brother, Jamie, my sisters, Katie and Elizabeth. And I reverse these every day too, I promise you. And then lastly, number 10, my students, you. I practice gratitude. And then I read a short little passage from the Bible. So what happened to me years ago in 2008 was I got into a pretty bad car accident. And my back is kind of messed up. But it's okay though. It's okay because I've adapted. And so what I do is I have this iPad. My wife calls it your iPad IV. It's my iPad that's attached to this pole, and I lie down in bed and I work that way a lot of the time. I like to be comfortable in my work, and so I'll when I first get up, I'll read a passage of the Bible from there as well. Yeah, and then so that helps me a lot. Other things I practice every day are I eat incredibly healthy stuff. You are what you eat. And if you eat organic stuff, you are what you eat eats. So there's plenty of antioxidants in here. So I have one of these every day. I make it myself. I take vitamins every day. Tons of different types of vitamins as well. I'm a biohacker. I drink bulletproof coffee every day. And it's basically, and this sounds out there, and people have been doing what I'm about to tell you for hundreds of years. You put a tablespoon of grass-fed butter in your coffee or your tea. And it tastes like there's cream in it. It tastes good, actually. And what that does is it basically helps you to think much gooder. It improves your cognitive abilities materially. And people have been doing it for hundreds of years. It's like that movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper. It allows you to think more clearly. I do that. I also exercise every day because if you treat this right, this will work better. And I exercise while I'm working. And you all know how I do it. I basically use, I have a treadmill under here and I raise my desk up and I get my steps in. I also go to the garage. I work out with my son, Andrew, weights every now and then. I mean, I've got nothing to show for it. He's much bigger than me. So I do that. I also schedule every single day. Not the weekends though. Otherwise it would drive me crazy. And so if you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person. And you can get a daily scheduler for my website, just go to harouneducation.com/schedule, all lowercase. Yeah, and I've gone through that in many other vlogs before. But again, if you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person. Yeah. Okay. And then next up, you wrote, what are some of the fundamentals in business? Yeah. So I think the most logical thing for me to talk about is relationships. Relationships are more important than product knowledge. And you can go to my website, harouneducation.com, and download my free networking book. But your network is your net worth. And I think a big rookie mistake in business is you show up to a meeting and you start talking business right away. That's not how it works. You have to bond. And you mentioned basketball with Kobe Bryant, and Kobe got an Oscar actually for that documentary before he passed away. God bless him. But I think that sports is great boardroom talk and great networking talk as well. And so before I go into a meeting with somebody I've never met before, I'll go to their Twitter profile to see who they follow. And if they follow, baseball teams, whatever it is, then if it feels right, I'll talk about baseball with them in the meeting. I won't say that I was stalking you by looking at your Twitter profile and I want to talk about baseball. I keep it pretty natural. But when I meet anybody from any big American city, first thing I do is I talk baseball because I am passionate about the sport. I love it. And if you haven't seen Field of Dreams, you guys got to watch it. It's great. You can do the same thing with football, not American football, but football overseas too. You meet somebody from Manchester, of course you're going to talk about Liverpool, the best team ever. Just kidding. Manchester United. But I really do believe that you really have to connect with somebody on a personal level before talking business. Okay, next question is from Kundan, who's saying, have you heard about OpenAI's GPT-3? Is that means content writing jobs are over? Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. But if you're talking about artificial intelligence taking away jobs, I'd never worry about that ever. We'll adapt. People were worried when John Deere created these great tractors that farmers wouldn't have jobs. No, technology helps us to do our jobs better. Next up is Ben, who's saying, congrats on the 100th episode. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. Then you wrote, I hope you know how much you appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, God bless you for that. Thank you. Yeah. That's what keeps me going when I know that I've humbly made a difference. Yeah. Thank you. And I actually do get depressed if I don't help somebody every day. It's just who I am. And I remember when I used to work for other people and I have my performance reviews, it was really uncomfortable because my boss would always say something like this: Chris, you're doing a great job. You've exceeded expectations. However, is there a way that you can spend less time mentoring people from other departments? I just can't. It makes me happy. Yeah. And Pratik is saying, actually, Chris, I'm planning to make a course on how to start loving learning or how to fall in love with learning. I haven't decided the title yet, but I will feel privileged to help you in your Rwanda school by giving it away for free to all your students there. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I love it. Yeah. And we can all contribute as well. Like everybody that's going to make a course, let me know and we'll bundle it and give it away to all of our students in Rwanda for free as well. Next question is relevant and useful content, Chris. My family thanks you for it. And that's coming from Shelv1. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Pratik is saying, me too. Thank you. Rawlings, how are you? Rawlings said it's good to be home. Thank you. Great to have you. Thank you. And thanks for the support on LinkedIn as well. I see you're active there as well. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Teacher Melody from Atlanta is saying, I'm thinking about doing a vlog on my weight loss. I'm down 20 pounds since I started. What do you think? I love it. Yeah. Do it. When one teaches to learn, I love it. Absolutely love it. You know what I did actually is the way I lost weight. Look, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a couple months ago, I started putting in a bit more weight. So what I did was I put this treadmill underneath here. And as you know, I raise up my desk and take the chair off. It's like a Michael Bay production here, transformer, so to speak. But that's how I do it here. Yeah, definitely Melody. Make a course even on Udemy on that if you want to. And Pratik wrote, HNN, Haroun News Network, best news channel ever. Thank you. And Ritesh is saying, congrats on your century. Thank you. 100 webcasts. It's surreal. I still can't believe it. Still can't believe it. It's amazing. Amazing. We've come a long way, but it's only going to get better and better and better. Yeah. And Mr. Wright, it's been a while. How are you? Mr. Wright wrote, what do you think about the news on banks may be able to custody cryptocurrency? Yeah. I think it's a great thing. I think that the problem with fiat currency, meaning traditional paper currency, is that it hasn't been, they've had a monopoly forever. I got to show you something. So I got this, I've got this coin. You guys are going to freak out when you see this. All right. So this here is a coin from the year 30 AD. It has Pontius Pilate on one side. And you might think, oh my gosh, Chris, that's so expensive. How did you get this? It's cheap. It's cheap. And the reason it's cheap and costs next to nothing, and I'm going to try to show you this, is because they made too much of it. And so in Israel, and I bought this in Jerusalem, but in Israel, what happens is they're doing excavations all the time, and they're finding new stuff. And this here is one of the coins they found. And there's tons of, and by the way, separately, the reason the Roman Empire failed is because they made too many coins, too much currency, right? And Caesar used to be on the currency as well. Let me show you this here, okay? But I think cryptocurrencies are wonderful because they finally give governments competition. Let me scroll in a little bit more here, see if it's going to work. There it is. There it is. That's one side of it. There's the other side. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? All right, let me go back to full mode, Chris. Hey there. Yeah. So I think that if banks were going to adapt or create a custodial service for meaning housing digitally the assets, I think that'd be a great thing. Anything that give money, traditional paper-based money, a run for its money. Oh my God, that was the worst pun ever. Is a great thing because competition's always good for the consumer, always. Yeah, and I do believe that there has to be some sort of regulation of cryptocurrencies because I think most cryptocurrencies are a scam. I really do. And I think that a lot of people are going to go to jail for manipulating cryptocurrencies and, pumping and dumping, meaning they'll have a YouTube channel and they say great things about a crypto. Crypto goes up, then they sell it and they say bad things about a crypto. Crypto goes down. Rinse, lather, repeat. They do it over and over and over again. Most cryptos are an absolute scam. There's a handful that I absolutely love, though, longer term. And for more details, and I'll never tell you what to buy, by the way. I humbly want to teach you how to fish, and not just give you a fish. But for more details on cryptocurrency stuff, you could take my complete cryptocurrency course if you want to on Udemy. And I put the first 6 hours up for free on YouTube. And if you search for cryptocurrency course anywhere in the world, mine comes up first in YouTube. Except for the ads above it. I figured out the algorithm. Yeah. I can talk about how the algorithm works if you guys want. Yeah. And Patrick wrote, I love this. Thank you. Thank you. And you guys are now talking about the video I showed earlier on this webcast. The very beginning, if anybody wants to rewind, I showed a breaking news video thing I made with Ron Burgundy, who's Bob Burgundy, I think I called him, interviewing a bunch of people. Yeah. And then Patrick wrote, LOL, the pandemic has made Chris go loco. Yeah, loco. I'm loca. Yeah, I'm a little cray-cray. That's okay. But here's to the crazy ones, as Steve Jobs said, right? Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are often the ones who do. And by the way, if you're doing, until recently, I would get a lot of calls from hedge funds and venture capital firms. And, they would always say, Chris, are you done with this teaching thing? Do you want to come back to work with us? And they thought I was crazy. And the second people start thinking you're not crazy, then it's too late. So anyway, I'm very humbled to be teaching full-time online. It's my last job ever. I don't have a job. I have a passion. It's fun. And all of you make this possible. My students, my customers. Thank you. Thank you. Pratik wrote, "You're an extraordinary and incredible man." Thank you. Thank you. And that's a quote from, it was Chip, was the name of the McKinsey analyst in the opening video, who said that this deal's an extraordinary deal. Yeah. And I think that opening video thing was probably inspired by Mike Myers. Not the guy from Halloween, the movie, but Mike Myers, the Canadian actor on Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I don't know if you guys saw, but the dude with the big hair, Gordon Lizard, that was kind of like Garth from Wayne's World. I was talking out of the side of my mouth as well. Next question is, OBS is quite complicated. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah. So for those of you not familiar with OBS, it stands for Open Broadcast Software. And it's an open standard for you to be able to do what I'm doing, webcasting. Okay. So what I use is a product called Wirecast right here. Okay. And you have to pay for this, but you can get a 30-day trial. And Wirecast is like another version, an easier version of OBS. I don't have it on this computer, but I have it on one of my other computers in case Wirecast goes down, which it does every now and then. But OBS it's a lot more complicated to use. You know, it's like if you were to create an application on Linux or Unix versus a Mac, you know, the Linux and Unix one is a little bit more complicated, but it can do a lot more. That's probably a good analogy. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not impossible to use, and it's free too. Yeah. The best way to learn it, I hate to say this, is just play around with it, try to break it, connect a couple cameras if you can, and go to YouTube every now and then. And if you have questions, let me know, because I've used it too. And this is week 100, and I've made 100 weeks worth of live webcast mistakes. Yeah. Melody wrote, "I'm crying here looking at Gordon." Thank you. Thank you. That was from the opening video. Yeah, Gordon Lizard. And I called him Gordon Lizard, the investment banker, because of Gordon Gekko, Michael Douglas, who got Best Actor in 1987 for Wall Street. So Gordon Gekko is Gordon Lizard. Yeah. Yeah. And Pratik wrote, "Hi, Manas. I checked out your YouTube channel. You two are doing a great job, man. Keep up the good work." Awesome. I agree. Kemi, how are you? Oh my goodness. So Kemi is from England originally, and she moved to Brampton, Ontario, Canada. And I used to live in Bramalea, very close to where she lives now. Kemi, I used to live at 26 Jubilee Court in Bramalea years ago. And Kemi has an adorable daughter, cutest daughter ever. And then a couple weeks ago, Kemi actually came onto our webcast. And I'll show. Let me show you Kemi here. So I actually I made the cover image because she's so adorable, her daughter. So if you go to my website and weekly webcast, whatever, if you scroll down, here it comes. Should be one of the first ones. Here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Here's Kemi and her adorable daughter. Adorable daughter. Yeah. It's great to have you. Thank you for being here. Yeah. All right, let me go back here. Full screen. Kemi is saying, "Congratulations, Chris. Thank you. I'm looking forward to the next 900 videos. Thank you. We hit the mini bar downtown today to celebrate this important milestone. Awesome. Thank you. We're all in this together. Thank you. All right, cool. Oh, Kemi, I think you sent me a message over LinkedIn. I don't remember if I responded yet. I'll take a look and respond. And for anybody else, if you've sent me a message, if I don't respond, please don't take it the wrong way. I get overwhelmed with a lot of messages every now and then, but I'm not overwhelmed by you, Kemi. I love your messages always. Okay. And everybody's too. Okay. And have a little, have a drink for me as well, Kemi. I don't drink. I actually don't, I don't drink anymore, but I don't drink any less. Just kidding. It's an awful joke. That's terrible dad humor. It happens when you have kids. You have dad humor and mom humor too. It's going to happen to you too, Kemi. It always does. But I think dad humor is more corny than mom humor. Yeah. And Patrick is saying he's not a fan of Apple Pay. Yeah. And I turned my Apple Pay off as well. Yeah. All right. And then Patrick wrote, someone's been studying up on acting craft. Yeah. I had fun with all his costumes. And, God bless Matt Lacus, my incredible chief creative officer, CCO, because he was the architect behind that. And then what we did actually, it might be tough for me to show you in this angle, but up above, you actually can kind of see that green thing up there? That's one of my green rollers that I roll down every now and then, but not that often for a green screen. Yeah. It's tough to get a perfect green screen. And the problem with green screen is that my eyes are green. Thanks, Mom. My eyes are green. And so anybody that's got green eyes, when you do green screen, it's a disaster. Because it looks like you don't have eyes. Like you can see right into my empty soul. And actually, actors and actresses in movies, if they have green eyes and there's green screen, they have to wear contacts. Yeah. And then Victor wrote, good morning, a teacher. Is it the right economy to get out a car from a dealership? Congratulations on the 100th webcast. You've taught us so many things about financials and growing our own companies. Thank you. My pleasure. And Victor, great to have you. Thank you. Yeah. So when you buy a car, if you're going to do it, and this is a Tucker. And actually I saw a model of a real Tucker at Francis Ford Coppola's vineyard up in Napa Valley. He's got his own wine, Coppola wine. And he made a movie called Tucker, A Man in His Dream, years ago. But when I get cars, I usually wait till the last day of the year, and then I go and I negotiate, and then I walk away. And like right at the point where I'm walking away, if they don't call me back, I'll turn around and buy the car. But I usually buy everything that's important from a CapEx perspective, big purchases, at the end of a quarter or the end of the calendar year or fiscal year for whatever company I'm buying from. And I do that because I know how salespeople work, and they have quotas. And if you wait until the last minute to buy something that's expensive, you can get a great deal. And so when I bought my Peter Pan BMW, when I bought my Beamer from there on El Camino Road here in San Mateo area, I did it on the last day of the year. And that was a number of years ago. I'll never buy a Beamer again, though, because I've had issues with them. I have another type of car now. But whenever I buy my computer equipment, I'll show you here if you're curious. I have this, I don't even know if it's connected. Is it here? Let me go here. I have a jellyfish server. I got from a company called LumaForge. I can go up here actually and turn it on. Yeah, here it is here. 240 terabyte server. I bought this in the last day of last calendar year when I was on vacation in Mexico. Actually, I remember called them and negotiated December 31st. I got a great deal, but I always wait until the last day. Yeah. And okay. And Pratik said Chip was my favorite. Yeah. Oh, he was great. Yeah. It's an extraordinary company. Yeah. And I crack myself every time I watch that. Gregory, it's been a couple of months. I hope you're doing well. Gregory is from Europe, and I smile whenever I see his name because I always think of the character on Succession named Gregory. Great show you guys should watch, by the way. It's called Succession. I think it's on Showtime I think it's Showtime or HBO. I'm not sure. I'm sure you can stream it online though, but it's great. It's about if Rupert Murdoch had a dysfunctional family, it would be about him. Yeah. Okay. And you wrote Yada 400. Thank you. And Kemi is saying, my question is that you said cash is a bad investment. How can I get my money to work for me? Also, can I save money in cryptocurrency? Yeah, it's a great question. So Kemi's, I know you're registered for my MBA degree program. And so what I recommend doing is go to semester 1 and 2 and watch all the finance and accounting videos because it'll answer all your questions in a lot of detail. Yeah. And then Pratik is saying, I'm sitting for 3 hours for 100 weeks without any break. Oh, you're saying about me. Sitting for 3 hours, 100 weeks without any break is not a joke. And then you wrote, salute right back. I got to salute you I got to salute you the right way. All right. So this here is a prop. Oops. from my MBA degree program. This is Private Haroun. Okay, I'm not a sergeant, just a private. But this here is for our venture capital boot camp. So actually, I got to smile and make this the image for this week's webcast. And I'll point. By the way, when you're recording YouTube videos, what people do at the end usually is they stop and they point at a bunch of things that can make that their image thumbnail. So I'll do that right now. So give me 1 second, and let me point here. There we go. But this is from my MBA degree program, Private Haroun. I got to cover up my little bald spot there. Okay, good. I'll put this back now. Yeah, and in my MBA degree program, I have venture capital boot camp, which is basically we run through creating a great business plan in a lot more detail than my other courses on business plans. Then what I do is I coach you on launching your company, etc. All that fun stuff. Boot camp. Okay. All right. Next up, I've got. I think I lost my mouse. Oh, here it is. Here. Manas wrote. Oh, I love it. I have this quote from Robert Frost in one of my posters too. You wrote, 2 roads diverged into the woods, and I took the one less traveled. Yeah, I love that quote. Stella, how are you? Stella is one of my unbelievable MBA degree program students. She lives in Seoul in South Korea, and she's wonderful. Stella wrote, hi, Chris. Oh, my God, what an exciting day. Congrats on the 100th episode webcast. I'm truly blessed to be your student. Thank you. And I'm more blessed, Stella, to have you as one of my incredible students as well, my MBA degree program. Great to have you. Great to have you. Yeah. And Stella has an incredible resume as well. She worked at Four Seasons years ago. 4 Saisons, great Canadian. I'm biased, a great Canadian company. And if you look at the logo of Four Seasons, you can actually see the Four Seasons. Pretty cool. All right, let's see what we got next. And Stella wrote, I apologize for being missing in action, but due to lots going on, I could barely have any time to breathe, and I felt bad. No worries at all, please. It's great to have you. Great to have you. And Stella wrote, I'm catching up with everything. It's a lot has gone on. Yeah. And then you said, I hope I can graduate this year. Yeah, you will. Yeah. We have graduation this December. And I want to rent the, I want to rent the Hiller Space Museum in San Mateo. I'm trying to rent it now, but they won't let us, just for COVID reasons. And there's a 747 airplane they have there that was taken out of circulation in the early 70s, and I want to rent it and make it so we can have our graduation there. And I want to record a trailer there for my MBA degree program. It's a cheesy trailer. I come out as a pilot from the cockpit, and I walk into regular class, and I say, "Hey, you've all been upgraded to business class." And then there's a big party, woohoo! And then they come forward to business class. But I can't rent the airplane. Or that museum because of COVID. But I promise you eventually, Stella, we will have that graduation there. Yeah. It might not be till next year, though. Great to have you. Now we've got Jose, one of my other unbelievable MBA degree students. He's from Venezuela originally, and he lives in Brooklyn. And he is an expert in the payments industry and a great guy. And he's got a little daughter as well. And Jose wrote, hi, everybody. Hi, Chris. Hey, man. What do you think about the geopolitical tensions between China and the United States now that the Chinese consulate in Texas was closed by the current administration? Yeah. I believe in democracy. I'm a capitalist, and it breaks my heart seeing what's happening in Hong Kong with people losing their rights. And this is controversial, and I always say what's on my mind. But I believe that the Chinese government, they could have stopped COVID earlier. But if you remember before the COVID outbreak, the biggest news was peaceful protests in Hong Kong, people demanding, equal rights, etc. And I think that Beijing could have stopped COVID earlier, but I think they let it go a little bit longer. And that made all the protesters not stay outdoors. So it breaks my heart to see for the first time in decades, China, for years they were moving from communism to capitalism slowly, which is the right call. Because if you do it overnight, it becomes like Russia. That wasn't a knock on Russian people. It's just, I'm not going to go there. Not a big Putin fan. But what happens is, like, they've been going China from communism to capitalism. And for the first time in my life, at least, since Nixon visited China in the 70s, for the first time, China's going back towards communism. And when you take people's rights away, it's not cool. Not cool. So, God willing, this stops, and maybe we get a cure this November. But I don't think it's right to use the geopolitical saber-rattling just to win an election. But at the same time, it's not right to take away people's fundamental human rights, which is what's happening in Hong Kong. So I am a bit conflicted there. But as long as the saber-rattling between the superpowers is for noble reasons and not because of an election. Yeah. Yeah. And that's never a dig on people in China. It's on the administration in Beijing and maybe America as well. Yeah. But I will say that when it comes to TikTok, and I know a lot of you are thinking about that. Will TikTok get banned? It might be within the next few weeks. We don't know. We don't know. And if somebody is using TikTok to spy, then it should be shut down. If somebody's not using it to spy, it should not be shut down. It's that simple. But one thing I will say about TikTok is it's really bizarre because I don't have an account, but I do watch it a lot with my kids. And we're thinking of getting a cat. We're trying to convince Christine we want to get a kitty cat. And I use TikTok on my devices, and it knows I like that we always watch cat videos, and I've never registered. And I'm talking like I didn't realize you can have cookies on your mobile device, meaning little digital trails to let websites know where you've been before. So I don't know. But if TikTok is used to spy, then yeah, it should be shut down immediately. But there has to be proof. If not, then I think it's just moronic saber rattling ahead of an election. Yeah. But again, if it was used to spy on anybody, then yeah, it should be taken. It should be blocked for sure. Yeah. But nobody wins in trade wars. So, okay. All right. Next question is, what's the next big thing? Manufacturing or providing services? I would say services, hands down, because services is code, websites, leveraging Amazon Web Services to do things faster, cheaper. Manufacturing, you got to deal with inventory issues, usually. The only exciting thing in manufacturing that's probably, come to fruition in the past couple decades is 3D printing. Yeah. Next up is from Kemi, who lives in Brampton, but originally she's from the United Kingdom. Kemi wrote, also, do you think embedding blockchain technology in a government structure to create transparency and trust in a third world country makes sense when servers are based abroad? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do believe that, it's unfortunate, but you have over 1 billion people in the world that are called the unbanked. They don't have access to credit or banks. And if cryptocurrencies can kind of plug that gap through microtransactions, et cetera, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. In terms of where the servers are based, it was kind of a geopolitical comment, I guess, but I think cryptocurrencies are virtual. I don't think it matters where they're located. Yeah, yeah. As long as there's no manipulation going on or scamming. Yeah. And Kemi wrote, can one merge mobile tech with cryptocurrencies so that one can create access to wealth for people in Africa? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting because a child in Africa, for example, today, with one cell phone, has more access to information and faster access to information than Bill Clinton did in the 1990s. Okay? And there's several billion cell phones now. But I do really believe that there will be microtransactions at some point when it comes to using cell phones in cryptocurrencies. I don't know which crypto it's going to be. Maybe it'll be something like Litecoin, and Litecoin is Bitcoin's little sister or little brother. It's done for smaller transactions. Yeah. Okay. Next up is Abdelatif is saying hi from Qatar. I hope you're doing well in Qatar. That's the right way to pronounce it. I've had friends that work at Lockheed Martin and defense contractors that call it Qatar, but it's Qatar, right? It's Qatar. Thank you. Great to have you. And Haroun is saying, hey, Chris, a year ago, I was pretty lost and unsure where I was going, but your videos and overall mentality helped me structure my thoughts and goals to what I truly wanted. And now I'm happy to say that I'm working in data analytics at an investment bank, which has always been a dream of mine. And I'm taking the CFA this December. That's awesome. Awesome. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. And if I can be resourceful in any way to helping you, realize your career goals or other goals, that's what I'm here humbly for. So thank you. Appreciate that. And best of luck on the CFA. Yeah. And by the way, for those of you not familiar with the CFA, it stands for Certified Financial Analyst Designation. You take it over 3 years. You study at nights or in the morning yourself, and you take an exam every year for 3 years. And level 1, which is the first year, is basically a review of finance and accounting that you learn in business school. And then level 2 and 3 are more advanced stuff. Yeah. And I did level 1 years ago, right after 9/11, I remember. It was I was at Goldman Sachs, and they were great. They were good. They paid to get all the books for me, and I went out with a bunch of my colleagues to write level 1. We lived in Manhattan, but we wrote in New Jersey, and it was really eerie because it was this big warehouse, like thousands of people in it, and we all had to stand up, rightly so, before the exam, and the proctor of the exam that worked for the CFA organization said, before we start, I want to read out the names of all of those CFA charter holders that died in the World Trade Center on September 11th. And it felt like an hour. Like, it was so sad. Craziness. Yeah, but I wrote level 1 years ago. Yeah. And my best advice for you actually is you can buy the Schweizer books. And Schweizer is owned by Kaplan, which is owned by the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos. But you can go to eBay and pay $30 literally to buy the Schweizer books, right? Which is a couple of books that are basically this thick, all of them together. They'll teach you only what you need to know to pass the test. And it's much cheaper than spending hundreds of dollars to buy all of those books that CFA recommends. It's a fast way to do it. Okay. An amazing Science 360 is saying, hi, Chris, what is the best book for business and entrepreneurship? And then you wrote, thanks in regard. Yeah. So my absolute favorite book that everybody should read is by Dale Carnegie, and it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it talks about basic human relations in business. And Dale Carnegie had this great quote. He said that we have to realize that in business, people are often creatures of emotion and not creatures of logic, especially when it comes to the stock market. So I would check out that book. Again, it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's an oldie but a goodie. And without Dale Carnegie, you wouldn't have people like Tony Robbins, who's awesome, be as successful as they are today. And I certainly respect Tony Robbins a lot. And I've met him a couple times. Good dude. Yeah. And if you don't have time to read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, just go to Audible and download the audio version. Yeah. And Melody wrote, are you reading any new books? Nothing right now. I usually have a couple audio books going at once, but nothing. I've just been so busy making content for the MBA degree program. Yeah. Hopefully my next book I read is yours. I know you mentioned it's coming out this year too. Yeah. All right. Next question is from Chandra. The question is, where can I find the difference between your platinum and gold versions of your MBA degree program? Yeah. And so the deadline for early admission is August 15th, but let me take you there. So if you go to my website, it's just harouneducation.com. And then when you're on this, when you're on this website, hold on one second. Let's see if there's any issues here with the webcast. Oh, we're good. Okay, good. When you're on this website here, go up here to MBA degree program, and then go to pricing and frequently asked questions. And it's right here. And this will explain the differences between the different programs. Yeah. Thank you. And if I didn't answer your question there, just let me know, please. Thank you. Or you can email at admissions@harounventures.com for more questions. Thanks. Okay. All right. And Melody is saying, I have an interview with a CEO today. What are great questions to ask a CEO in regards to running a business? Okay. The best question you can ask a CEO is this. What is the most misunderstood aspect of your business model by customers? They love that question. And then Dr. Asif is saying, hi all, hope you're doing well. Okay. Let's see here. Thank you, Ramon. Appreciate that. And Dr. Asif is saying, hey, Chris, please don't say that you don't need to go to university. My livelihood depends on my lecturing job. Okay, I'm sorry. You're a teacher. Dude, Dr. Asif, you should teach online, man. Teach online. What do you teach? Let me know. Let me know. You should put a course up on Udemy. Yeah. And then Jose, who's saying Angela and Rob are great. Yeah, great teachers on Udemy. Yeah. Angela Yu and Rob Percival teach technology courses on Udemy, and they're from England. They speak gooder than me. And I always think that people with British accents, for some reason, are just more intelligent. Maybe they're more articulate. I don't know. And then Jose wrote, I've learned a lot from them in their Udemy courses. Thank you for sharing, Chris. You're most welcome, brother. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. And then Chandra is helping out by explaining the difference between the gold and platinum version of my MBA degree program. So the platinum version you get, and you can go to my website to learn more, but you get several hours of one-on-one meetings with me in the San Francisco Bay Area if you're here or visit here, or we do it over Zoom. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. All right. And then next up, Dr. Asif is saying, question, how can we academics within a university environment plant a seed of entrepreneurship amongst our students rather than creating an employment mindset presently? Yeah. So I think the best thing to do is to teach your students how to write a business plan. And I have a course on Udemy called the Complete Business Plan course, and you're welcome to use the entire curriculum to teach your students if you want to. And then Dr. Asif wrote, business schools have excellent entrepreneurial courses taught by scholars who have never traded a dime. Yeah, I know. That's the problem with universities, like business school, for example, is, a lot of times you do have successful people in business teaching, but quite often there are people that will teach you theory, like economic theory. Like, I've never used a supply and demand graph in my life. And I found that one of the big problems with business school is that they don't teach you the most practical skills in business, like how to sell, how to network, how to interview, how to present, how to manage your own money. They teach you how to manage other people's money, how to write a business plan, etc. A lot of people graduate business school and you think, okay, so now you know how to start a company, right? No. A lot of times they're taught theoretical stuff that's just not used in the real world. Which is why I launched my MBA program. Yeah. All right, cool. And for those of you that read up on MBA stuff, there's I'll show you. There's this probably the best website on the planet when it comes to learning about MBA stuff is called Poets and Quants. And I was actually interviewed by them not too long ago. You can click here to read the entire interview. June. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, but they wrote a nice article there. Mark Ethier, good dude. Yeah. All right, let me go back here. Where am I, man? Here I am. Good. All right. Okay. And then Sana wrote here, I'm from India. What is the time of this weekly webcast? When does it start? Yeah, it starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time, San Francisco time. It's 3 hours every Thursday. And then within 24 hours, one of my amazing employees named Hisham, who is actually one of my students at San Francisco State, he's a good dude. He'll write up the entire thing so that within 24 hours of this webcast being done, you can go to the description field of this webcast and click on any question to get the immediate answer. So I don't waste your time. Yeah. Thank you. And by the way, when I teach my MBA degree program to my gold and platinum students, I teach it on Mondays and Tuesdays in 2 time zones. Time zone 1 starts at 9 a.m. my time. Time zone 2 starts at 4 p.m. my time. And a lot of my students in India, and I think about 20% of my students are from India. They usually take the 9 a.m. Session. Yeah. And then Dr. Asif is saying, you're an inspiration to me and some of my students. Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from a professor like you. Thank you. Then you wrote, many congratulations on your 100th webcast and stay blessed. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Akil, speaking of India, Akil is one of my amazing students from India. And he wrote here, I've been here for 1 year. I'm also in Chris's MBA degree program. Chris has taught me so much in my 2 years of business school. Yeah, and then he wrote, I later went on to drop out. Yeah. Akil, great to have you as always, brother. Great to have you. And Akil is starting a company with his parents, actually, with his dad. Yeah, they own a clothing company in India, and they're starting another online healthcare tech company, which is awesome. And Simcha wrote, how do you quit the right way from a company that was really good to you? And you wrote, you're just looking for a new career path. Yeah. So, yeah, and you have to quit the right way because that company, that person you work for is going to be a reference one day, likely. So what I would do is this. You always give at least 2 weeks notice. And, you know, I probably say something along these lines if it's true or whatever. I don't know what situation you're in. You know, let's pretend I work for somebody named Simcha. I'd say, Simcha, I really enjoyed working here. You know, our team is amazing and we've accomplished a lot together. You know, however, it's really expensive to raise a family here in the Bay Area. And I want to be able to provide as much as I can for my children. As such, and it's so hard for me to make this decision, but unfortunately I have to move on. But I want you to know that over the next couple of weeks, I'm happy to transition my task to anybody you want to. And even after I leave, please feel free to contact me anytime and I'll walk through walls for you. You've been great to me and I want to reciprocate and help you out as well. And I hope you understand. And Simcha, by doing that, if, and it happens a lot, your boss, it's so expensive to hire new people, to pain in the neck, train them too. Your boss might say, well, how about if we give you a 30% raise or a one-time cash bonus? Don't take stock options ever. Because you're already exposed to the company anyway, because you're working there. But they might actually come back and counter. Okay, and then looks like Chandra, you're talking to Akil there. If you're asking me a question, let me know, please. Yeah, thanks. I love it when you guys talk to each other with the @ symbol. I usually don't read those out, but please keep doing so. Engagement's fun. And by the way, in our MBA degree program, we all use Zoom and we talk to each other. And sometimes we have like 9 people on the same screen at once, Brady Bunch style. But we also use Slack as well, which is great. And Patrick wrote, Red Dead Redemption is amazing. Yes, dude. Yeah. And I'm still doing part 2. I put it aside, the game, a little bit on my PS4 because I'm playing The Last of Us part 2 as well. But it is epic. And you really feel like you're in America during the land grab or in the late 1800s. Yeah, it is a masterpiece. It's made by the same company, of course, that makes Grand Theft Auto, which is dope. Yeah, it's a great game. And then Quan 9 is saying, thank you, Chris, for your webcast. You're most welcome. It's a lot of dedication and congratulations on the 100th. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And then Dr. Asif is saying, one of my favorite quotes is, would you like to share? You cannot discover new oceans unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to take a little screen print of that. Thank you. Love it. Love it. Thank you. And Vinay is saying, what are your thoughts on the father of the Pentium chip? Yeah. So is it, if are you talking about Andy Grove or are you talking about somebody else? Let me know. Craig Barrett, a more recent CEO, he's not CEO anymore, or Gordon Moore, who came up with Moore's Law. Let me know, and I'd be happy to opine with my thoughts on those three great men. And God bless Andy Grove. He's no longer with us. Yeah. Yeah. And Akil wrote, has it been 2 years since the first webcast? First webcast was around August 20th or so, 2018. Yeah. And then you wrote, I remember it was just your chair and a laptop. So far, the studio's come a long way. It's crazy, dude. I had a little laptop here before when I was doing it. It was in 720, the resolution. Now I've got pedals and cameras, and it's been fun. It's been fun. And I've got that. My latest thing is this guy up here, right? So it's basically, this is like one of those top-down cameras, which has been fun. Okay. All right. Awesome. Guys, I've never done this. Oh my God. In all 100 weeks, I've never had to do this once, but I'm going to have to take a really, really quick 2-minute break. Okay. I've never taken a break before. I figure it's number 100. You guys won't get mad. If you get upset, I understand. So I guess what I'll do, give me 1 second. I'll show you my son. And what I'll do is I will show you, let me see here. Yeah, here's what I'll do. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll show you a quick little video of my son and one of my courses. I'm multitasking at the same time here. So I will be right back. Oh my God, am I an idiot? I'm so trying to set this up here. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, thanks. One speech can change your life. You will learn to love public speaking. One speech. Oh, hey there. One speech can change your life. You can. Oh, hey, I'll be with you in a second, okay? You will learn to love public speaking. Oh, hey, actually, I'm practicing for my speech. Can I rehearse it with you and you can maybe let me know what you think? Okay, thanks. One speech can change your life and touch the hearts of so many people around you, whether you realize it or not. And this assumes you have no public speaking experience at all. No problem. I used to be terrified of public speaking, much more than you. I'd rather have been here than up there. For example, when I was in business school at Columbia University, as well as during the training program at Goldman Sachs, I asked more questions than my peers did because I was terrified of being put on the spot. But now I feel alive while giving speeches. People might forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. This course is not based on theory. It's based on real practical experience. I've given a TEDx talk, numerous keynote presentations, and graduation speeches in front of hundreds of people. I've given numerous business presentations, and I've been interviewed by many media publications. You will learn to love public speaking on the spot with no preparation. So that one incredible speech can be the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's almost impossible to achieve all of your goals in life without learning how to master public speaking. Anyone that's had a significant influence on the world, from Dr. Martin Luther King to Malala, Bill Gates, or Steve Jobs, all had one thing in common. They've all had the ability to communicate with large groups of people. In this course, I will include 25 different templates for every type of speech occasion, from a personal speech at a wedding to a business presentation using Skype. This course will teach you everything there is to know about public speaking. One speech can change your life.
and the lives of so many people around you. Life all comes down to a few short moments. So how was that?
Guess it was okay, Dad. Can we go home now?
Sure thing, bud. All right, let's go. So I've got to take him home, but I'll see you in class. Thanks. So how was everything? Had a good day?
All right, thank you. That was the first break I've ever taken in all 100 weeks here. Thank you. All right. All right, next question is from Manas, who's saying, will you give me the opportunity to collaborate with you for any course you decide topic? Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so jammed right now with commitments and the MBA degree program. I'm so sorry. I just don't have the time at this point. Not yet, but thank you. Okay. Next up is Sanket, who's saying, how do you keep yourself updated? What is the source of your knowledge? What do you recommend to improve one's knowledge? Any books, apps, etc.? Yeah. So when I was younger, I used to be a voracious reader of a lot of publications. You know, the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times, FT.com, which is like the Wall Street Journal, but international. And I would read every biography I could find on every successful business person and use their blueprints to improve myself, etc. Then I got to a point where I just don't read anything anymore. And I try to just come up with my own content. So, people will ask me when I teach about business plans in the MBA degree program or on my courses, they'll say, what do you think about the Canvas business plan approach? I don't even know what that is. I know it's a methodology. But I just do everything myself from my own experience. And I find that, I can form my own opinions now. I mean, I could when I was younger too, but I usually don't want to get biased by anybody. But if you're just starting out, I recommend just reading biographies of people that inspire you. Okay. And then Dr. Asif is saying, hey, Chris, Asif here from Cardiff, Wales, United Kingdom. How are you? I'm planning to promote your MBA to my graduated students. Your silver package looks amazing. Thank you, Dr. Asif. I appreciate that. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you want, you can contact me directly at admissions@harounventures.com. And if it's a big package, we can talk about just bulk pricing as well, if you want. Thank you. Yeah. Patrick said, thank you. You're most welcome. Yeah. All right, cool. And then Patrick said, I envy that level of faith, honesty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it's like for me, and this is just me, but I don't, like I mentioned before, it's just me, who I am. I don't worry about anything business related because, God already knows what's going to happen. And that puts me at ease. Like I remember years ago, I got let go from a company and I made them a lot of money. I didn't understand it. And I was upset. And I remember I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I don't get it. And I work so hard. I think I'm a nice guy. I contribute to the team. And I think what happened was my boss saw me as his assassin, whatever. If you're too good at what you know what I mean. I'm not going to go there. But my dad, what he did was he had me read the book of Job, which from the Old Testament, which is prophetic because Job is job. And basically, it was this dude that had a lot of bad stuff happen to him, whatever. And years later, he understood why it happened and he was grateful. And so for me, like, whenever you're sent down a different path career-wise in life, you might look back upon that years from now. And it won't make sense to you now, but it will eventually. You might look back and say, I'm so grateful to God that I was sent down a different path. Perception becomes reality. Yeah. Okay. And then Dr. Asif wrote from United Kingdom, wrote, since I've discovered you on Udemy and subscribed to most of your sessions based on your valuable advice, I have guided my students about networking tips on LinkedIn. It has been very productive. Thank you. No, you're most welcome. I really do believe that relationships are more important than product knowledge. Yeah, thank you. Juan David. Juan David is our 17-year-old student from Chicago. He's originally from Venezuela, and he wrote a best-selling book, which I'm humbled to say I wrote the foreword for, as well as the Chicago Tribune, called Generation Optimism. He and his mother immigrated from Venezuela. Very, very tough background, which he documented in his book. And by the way, at 17 years old, he's also done 2 TEDx talks. Amazing. Yeah. So Juan wrote here, Chris, congrats to you on 100. Thank you. And you wrote, that is amazing. Thank you very much for doing this. My pleasure. And thank you for being here as well. And thank you, Juan David, for inspiring others with your book, Generation Optimism. I love it. And then Juan said, I'm also getting to 100 videos in my daily vlog. Awesome. And then you wrote, I'm thinking I should stop and focus on weekly videos. I think the vlogs are not being helpful and I could make the weekly videos better. Thoughts? Yeah. It's a tough call. Like for me, like I committed to it. And I told students I'm going to do it every day for 10 years. So I have to. But my quality could be a lot better if I just did weekly ones, but I already committed to it. Like for example, Sasha Stevenson, she's one of my great students, and she has over 100 million views on her YouTube channel. What Sasha did, and we made a course together called the Complete YouTube Course. You can check it out on Udemy or my website if you want to. But she does weekly as well. But the quality of her videos is much. I mean, she's got over 100 million views. She's a rock star in Indonesia. Much better than mine. But it can take over your life. But what I recommend you do is you think about repurposing content. So like, for example, what I do, all my vlogs come out of this weekly. So I do this weekly call, and then my team goes through it and they pick a bunch of videos they think would add the most value to people. And those are my 7 vlogs of the week, and my Instagrams and my tweets and my LinkedIn posts. Repurposing content. Nintendo, which is the oldest tech company in history, they're over 130 years old. What Nintendo's been doing for decades is repurposing content. It's a high margin business for them. And so a lot of the great games from the 8-bit or SNES, the 16-bit or the 64-bit version, like Mario 64 and even Galaxy from the Wii and Galaxy 2. Those games are always being repurposed, that content, on different platforms. So it's a smart way to do it. And that way you work smarter and not harder as well. So I would think about repurposing content as well. But just because you're not getting many views, like don't let that deter you. Like Gary Vaynerchuk, for example. Let me talk a bit about Gary V. He's this guy from New York, a bit abrasive, but he grows on you. Because he's just very honest. But let me show you his website, because he's better than I am about this stuff. And this will really help you crystallize your thought process on how to create content and think about content as well. So do a search for Gary V. And then on his website, if you go down to the bottom, and this is just something I do, but go down to the bottom, and whatever order he has these logos in, is what you should focus on. This is Instagram, and then YouTube, Facebook. By the way, I just pulled off of Facebook. I'm not on Facebook anymore. My business account, it's gone. I had over 10,000 subscribers too. I'm never doing it again because I just don't trust the company, and it feels unethical to be a part of that. So that's me, gone. And God bless you, Disney, for paring back as well. Twitter, Snapchat. I haven't figured this one out yet, but I can make myself look really young with a filter on Snapchat. That's all I know. My kid showed me. LinkedIn, and this here's podcast. He used to have Method here as well, and he got rid of it, just like I did. I gutted it. I don't believe in Method. But what he does is he repurposes content, and I'll show you. So when you go to his website, he's got this presentation that you should open. It's called 86 Pages of Insanity. And he talks about the content pyramid in here. Okay. So right here, it's 86 slides. The content pyramid. He talks about repurposing content. Use this as your guideline. Use him, not me. Yeah. You know, my dad taught me when I was younger. He said, never take advice from somebody who's not successful. Take advice from Gary V when it comes to social media. He's great. But with Gary V, actually, he mentioned that when he was first getting started, he had to do interviews with tons of these podcasts that had like 5 viewers or listeners, whatever. But he was just consistent. It just takes time. And you have to tell yourself, everybody is wrong and I'm right. And I don't care. I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to opine and give my thoughts, whatever, on vlogs, whatever it is, forever. And eventually it'll work. It's like any great journalist or author, like J.K. Rowling or C.S. Lewis or Agatha Christie. They actually got rejected from a gazillion people, publishing houses. And eventually they made it. You just got to be resilient and be a pit bull on a pork chop and be relentless. And eventually you'll make it. Yeah. Okay. And then Joao wrote, 100, what an achievement. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. A question from Joao is the Bitcoin stagnant and moving horizontal while miners are trying to get profitable again? Yeah. It's tough to mine Bitcoin just because it's really competitive. Like I used to do it like back in 2012 or 13, whatever it was. At first I started out with Raspberry Pi and I wasn't an expert in it, but I kind of hacked around with it. Then it got more competitive. So we had to use a laptop, then more competitive. I had to use a desktop, then eventually an SGI workstation. And then I was like, forget it. I can't, it's just too competitive. And so what I did was I got what's called an Ant miner, which basically is a dedicated machine that's really loud. To mining Bitcoin. Okay, it's based on an ASIC chip. ASIC just means the chip does one thing really well, mine Bitcoin. And you can just do a search on Antminer, you can find it. And then it became too expensive because the cost, despite the fact that I have solar on my roof, the cost of electricity per kilowatt hour here in the San Francisco Bay Area, 14 cents per kilowatt hour is just too expensive. And you can't compete with Chinese companies, for example, that do it. As the cost to the per kilowatt hour is 8 cents in China, whatever it is. So I had to move on to something else. And so I created my own cryptocurrency computer, which I teach about in my MBA degree program, or in my complete cryptocurrency course. I've done a heck of a lot of mining on Ethereum, where Ether is the cryptocurrency. When it gets too competitive, you tend to move on to other cryptos. Yeah, but it's all based also on the cost of electricity where you live on a kilowatt hour basis. All right, Anish is saying, what do you think about FDI in India? I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry. And Melody is asking, I was just going to recommend the Michael Jordan documentary. Thank you. Yeah, even if you don't watch the sport, it's fascinating. I love it. I love it. It is amazing. It's incredible. And just how humble, Michael Jordan was when he first started out. And the amazing thing about Michael Jordan is that he didn't make his high school basketball team when he was a kid. And he just persisted, and he's amazing. He makes more money per year now just off of Nike endorsements than he did in his entire career. Amazing. Just amazing. I had no idea about the tension between Scottie Pippen and the rest of the team as well. Yeah. But I love Michael Jordan's mom and Scott Pippen's mom as well. They were very endearing in their interviews. Yeah. All right. Oh my God, dude, this is. Oh. I can't believe this. It's so funny. Michael Jordan is asking a question here. It's Michael Jordan Elcock. I love it. And MJ is one of my amazing MBA degree students. God, the Lord works in mysterious ways. What are the chances? They're amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So Michael Jordan Elcock, one of my MBA students, he's awesome. He's from Trinidad and Tobago. Great guy. He and his wife watch the MBA degree program, and it's always great to have him. Thank you. But Michael Jordan Elcock is saying, good morning, Chris. Good morning, fellow participants. Chris, I'm thrilled to be here on this auspicious occasion. Thank you. God bless you, buddy. And you wrote, happy 100th live webcast. All your webcasts are delivered with humility and love. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, man. It's so great to have you. And I gotta show my quote down here. Whoops, wrong camera. See, I still make mistakes. Right there. Yeah. I've failed over and over again in my career, and that's why I succeed. Great quote from the other Michael Jordan. Thank you. Great to have you. And then Michael Jordan Elcock wrote, I'm sure all your mentees concur I am eagerly looking forward to the next 100 episodes. Thank you. And then you wrote, have an awesome day, weekend, and vacation. Once again, congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm taking 2 weeks off starting this this Saturday. And I've pre-recorded the next couple lessons you guys are going to get when I get back from vacation as well. And I'm giving Matt some time off. He's never asked for it, my chief creative officer, but I went ahead and edited the next class myself, which will be obvious when you see it because it's not as good as Matt's. Yeah. Always great to have you, Michael. Thank you. All right, cool. And then Seth is saying, and it just jumped again on me. Hold on a second, guys. It happens sometimes. Here we go. I found it. Great. All right. Seth is saying, what is a good way to acquire an existing business? Yeah. Yeah. So it all depends on what size you want. So for example, if the larger investment banks like Goldman Sachs, et cetera, they'll only look at deals if it's $500 million or more. If you want something smaller than that, you're gonna have to talk to these mezzanine or smaller boutique investment banks. They can help you out. If you don't want to go down that route as well, what you can do is you can actually just approach private equity firms and see if there's a way you can invest in their fund. Or you can contact the founder of whatever company it is you want to buy and look to value that company and make sure that you create several different valuation frameworks, which I teach in my MBA degree program and my courses, like valuing the company based on discounted cash flow, which is what private equity firms usually do. You can look at price to earnings or price to EBITDA multiples. Okay. EBITDA is it's earnings before I tricked dumb accountant. Sorry. EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, and maybe even price to revenue if the company's not profitable yet. That's what I would do. Obviously, get your lawyer involved or get a lawyer involved to make sure that you're not buying a lemon or a crappy company. Make sure that they have a great auditor as well that blesses the financials. Yeah, and there's a lot more steps too. And if you want to know how to analyze a company and every aspect of a business model, take my complete business plan course, or you can take my MBA degree program where I go into a lot more detail on that. Because when you create a business plan for not just your own company, but another company you're looking to buy, you can kind of cover all the qualitative and quantitative issues or characteristics of that company so that you can, be preemptive and understand what you're buying before you pull the trigger. And failing to plan is planning to fail. So I think you always have to write a business plan for your own company or other ones that you want to buy first. Yeah. And again, get a lawyer involved just in case. Yogesh is saying, hi, Chris. Since I'm trying to understand what is the field I will choose as my career, I'm not able because of talent in so many fields. Yeah. So what I would say in general, Yogesh, is the best way to understand what you want to do is to think, if I'm given a month off and I cannot work and I cannot travel and I cannot go to school, what would you do with your time? That's your passion. That's your calling. No matter what anybody tells you, that's what you should do. And if you're not sure if you would enjoy a career or not, I want you to network and sit down with a lot of people and do informational interviews. And you can go to my website, harouneducation.com, and download my free networking book because it'll teach you how to get a lot of informational meetings so that you can discover what your passion is. Chandra is saying, hi, Chris. I'm reading and answering questions from YouTube or some other input source. Oh, you're asking me, I'm sorry. Am I reading from YouTube or some other input source? No, I'm reading right from YouTube. But what I've done actually is, I'm such a nerd and I love to play around with new technology. I'll show you. So if let me hit the right pedal here. Is that the right one? Oops. Yeah. So you could see here, you see that little thing sticking out right there. Whoops. And that's my alarm. I got to wrap this up in a couple of minutes. I got my MBA degree student office hours. And Hisham, one of my amazing employees, wrote, "Congratulations, Chris, on the 100 webcasts. Many more to come." Thanks, buddy. Hisham Riaz. He's great. He's doing work with us, and I hope he's going to do much more work too. He's awesome. But that thing I just pointed to, that's a teleprompter. And so I look into this and I reverse the font as well so that it's white on black. If it's black on white like a normal monitor, then it's just too bright, and this camera, the A camera, which is this dude here, gets all messed up. Yeah, from a lighting perspective. Yeah. And then so I'm reading directly, Chandra, from the YouTube field that you're entering in these questions into directly. Yeah. What you can do, and what I do, is I pop out the Q&A into a separate browser window, and I look at it here on this monitor, and I monitor it with my other monitors around here as well. Yeah. John wrote, "Thanks a lot for the awesome courses on Udemy." You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Now, I apologize, but if anybody still has questions, please save them and ask me on the next webcast. Next week, we don't have one. The week after, we don't have one either. But I think on August 13th or so, I think it's our next one. Yeah. I'm taking 2 weeks off. So just copy your questions, ask me then, please. If you're my MBA degree students in the gold or platinum track, if you had questions, you can ask me on our office hours call, which starts in, I think, 15 minutes. And if you have one-on-ones with me, my MBA platinum and students, I'm looking forward to chatting with you later today. So I want to thank you all for your time. I can't believe that this is number 100. I've enjoyed every second of this, and I feel guilty I'm taking a couple weeks off. But again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been a wild ride, a lot of fun. And if you subscribe to my vlog, I'll see you tomorrow and every day, because I vlog daily. If you're my MBA degree student, I'll see you in a couple of minutes, platinum and gold students. Otherwise, I'll see you on August 13th. I think that's the next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, at 8 a.m. and every Thursday after that at 8 a.m. as always. Thank you. And so what happens next is one of my great employees, Hisham, is going to write up all the questions, and then he'll put them within 24 hours into the description field of this weekly call. So you can click and get immediate access to questions. So thank you, everybody. Stay healthy. God bless you. And I'll see you soon. And thank you as always.